McAfee.
Streaming now on ESPN Plus. Presented by Under Armour.
I'm Pablo Torre, host of the podcast ESPN Daily. Every weekday morning, I will bring you the best sports story you'll hear all day. Today on ESPN Daily, no one has asked tougher questions of the Net superstars than Nick Friedel, who explains why a lot more than this season is on the line for the Brooklyn Nets as they face getting swept by the Celtics tonight. So follow us and listen on your favorite podcast app.
WING 1410 Dayton, Dayton's ESPN Radio. ESPN 1410 Wing AM weather.
Today, it's going to be cloudy early, then off and on rain showers for the afternoon with a high of 72. Your chance of rain is 60%. Tonight, partly cloudy skies and a low of 43 degrees. And tomorrow, for your Tuesday, partly cloudy skies and a high of 56. I'm Adam Zellick for 1410 ESPN Radio.
All right, happy Monday. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Brad Mays with Home Experts Realty. And Kev, you hear the theme in the back. You know what that means?
Yes, indeed.
Feel Good Monday. What are we feeling good about coming out of the weekend? That's how we kick off the show. Again, the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash. I'm Justin Kinner. He's Kev Nash. Kev, what are we feeling good about to kick off the week?
I'm going to go off a little base here. I'm going to feel good about a lot of guys coming back to college. Not only coming back to college, but coming back to the university that they played for last year. I know there's a lot of talk about the transfer portal and people being upset with the transfer portal and people going pro. Well, Caleb Love, RJ Davis, Leaky Black, and Armando Baycock all coming back to North Carolina. All guys that could have went pro, that could have been drafted in the first round or could have transferred somewhere else to get more playing time and get more production, everything like that. They're coming back to North Carolina next season.
So, yes, and again, there's a lot of bad with the portal. But again, the portal's not the problem. This is more NIL than it is portal. Portal still sucks, Kev, just so we're clear.
NIL, you were feeling good.
NIL is why these dudes
don't try to rain on my parade. I'm just saying, like, I want to make sure.
NIL is why they're coming back. The portal is what they would have used to leave. I'm just saying. But yes, that is cool because it reminds me a little bit of that Florida team from back in 2008 with the Joakim Noah. Maybe not as good of a team, but still a very good team with a lot of recognizable names. Again, names that a lot of us became familiar with throughout the NCAA tournament run, including that national championship run where they did knock off Duke, of course, in the Final Four. But yes, the portal, in my opinion, is still bad for college basketball. However, NIL, though many people want to overharp about how bad that is, I don't have a problem with NIL, although I think NIL enhances the portal issues. But NIL has also led to a lot of players coming back. I mean, the Dickinson kid from Michigan, he's coming back, and that's another example of the NIL opportunities that, hey, it used to be, I'm going to bail, not bail, that has negative connotation to it. I'm going to go ahead and make the leap to the NBA, even if I may not be 1,000,000% ready, because even if I get a G League contract, even if I get an overseas contract, it's still money I wouldn't have made in college.
Right.
Now that's helping those guys. Those guys they feel more comfortable. You know what? I'm a second round grade, which, by the way, if you get a second round grade in the NBA, you're being told you're fringe to begin with. So just that's not a shot. I mean, it's tough to get a second round grade, but if you're told you're getting a second round grade, I get it before, you might as well take a chance. You're going to make money somewhere. Now you can come back, make money, and there's really not a whole lot of thought about it. You can give yourself a chance to take your game to that next level. So, yes, it is a feel-good Monday for that very reason right there. But, yes, portal still sucks. I'm Justin Kinner. Feel-good Monday. What am I feeling good about coming out of the weekend? How about the Cincinnati Reds, Kev? The Cincinnati Reds, after losing 135,000 straight games, they finally put an end to that losing streak with not just a win, but a win over one of their most hated rivals out of the NL Central, a 4-1 win over the Cardinals. The Reds now improved to 3-13 on the season, but the reason I have it there was my feel-good Monday. Yes, the Reds won, but they won with Nick Lodolo on the mound, and Nick Lodolo looked dominant. Nick Lodolo absolutely dominated in the Reds' 4-1 win over the Cardinals, ending that 11-game losing streak. Again, the Reds still 10 games under 500 already at 3-13, still hold on to the worst record of Major League Baseball, but that's good. You get that win to close out that series against against the Cardinals. You get an off night before returning back home. You got the Padres coming into town. But yes, any win's a good win, and the Reds, that's a good win. And see, Phil Castellini was right. You just got to relax. Let's celebrate what the Reds just did, right? No, but 3-13, that stinks, but you still can feel good about the Reds getting a win with one of the main pieces of the future, Nick Lodolo. Kev, what else are we feeling good about?
I'm feeling good about Tyson Fury knocking out Dylan White in the 6th round on Saturday afternoon. Yes, that fight took place around 4 o'clock in the afternoon where people are out having a good time at the golf course, or like myself was out there drinking a lot of margaritas. But that now, him knocking him out now sets up the fight between him and Anthony Joshua for the heavyweight title. So it's going to be a unification match that's going to take place probably like somewhere like November, maybe even October. Like I said, I'm off base today. I know we're going to be talking a ton of NBA. I know we're going to be talking a ton of NFL, but there's other sports out there that I want to shine some light on that I feel good about. So I feel good about a potential Anthony Joshua, Tyson Fury fight this fall. I'm here for it.
All right, here on a Feel Good Monday, this is how we kick off every Monday moving forward. We come out of the weekend, tell you what we feel good about, what we experienced over the weekend. I feel good. I went to the Journey concert last night in Cincinnati. Felt pretty cool about that. Like, I really wasn't into it that much going for it. Or really wanted to go, but I'm not a big concert person. I go to Riverbend all the time, but I don't really go to too many concerts outside of that. But it was a really cool concert. Had a great time with my fiance, of course. One of our few nights out together before we get married here in a few weeks. So I felt good about that.
It all comes to an end.
Yeah, the beginning of the end, right? No. But I felt good because for those watching on camera, I don't know if you could see it. I got the tan line going here, the golf glove tan line. Now, I threw a temper tantrum on the golf course yesterday because I was awful. I was pissed. I haven't been that pissed in a long time. I was fuming. I was so angry. I didn't even know what to do. I love golf, but I'm telling you, it's supposed to be a sport that you retire, that you can go and relax. And I'm like, why does it just make you contemplate a lot of things? Like, I don't understand. Golf is just not as relaxing as what many people try to convince you that it is. But I still feel good that the weather's warmed up to the point, maybe not today, that you can go out and get a sunburn again. So that makes me feel pretty good. So I'm going to put that at the top of my Feel Good Monday list.
Last one for me, man. I'm feeling good about the NBA, man. I'm feeling great about the NBA playoffs. There've been some great games. Atlanta won on a buzzer beater on Friday night. Unfortunately, they got blew out on Sunday, so that wasn't a good game on Sunday. But it's been a ton of good games in the first round of the NBA playoffs. You got Utah and Dallas tied up at 2s. They're going to be playing tonight to break that tie tonight at 9:30 when Luka's back to full-time minutes. So him and Donovan Mitchell going to be going at it. Can't wait, man. It's a lot of great NBA going on right now.
Last but not least, what I feel good about here on this Feel Good Monday. Yes, that's it. It's NFL Draft Week. The NFL Draft, the first round coming up later on this week, Thursday, first round of NFL Draft. And although it's a little boring for me, the Browns do not have a pick in the first round, and the Bengals don't pick until number 31. And I do not believe that there is a franchise-altering talent that the Browns or Bengals could pick up, mainly because I think there's only one kind of franchise-altering, pick that you can make, and that's quarterback. And the Browns have their quarterback, and the Bengals definitely have their quarterback. So I think that these drafts become a little less interesting. But I was talking with Keith Byers earlier today during his show. If the Browns and the Bengals could be more interesting in the months of September, October, November, December, if that's the sacrifice we have to make is to give up our April, our draft, to have a more interesting September through December, I'm all for it. I would much rather be talking about a winning Browns and Bengals team in September through December, if that means not talking about any major draft picks at the NFL draft. What I mean by that is winning football, not so sexy picks. And the Browns had a number 13 pick before trading that away in one of many picks to be able to acquire Deshaun Watson from Houston. But nonetheless, to me, people get so bent out of shape about draft picks. You can't just give those away. The purpose of draft picks is to be able to take those draft picks and go get talent to help your football team. Well, if you could take that same draft pick and go get a Deshaun Watson, a franchise quarterback, that's still better and more valuable to me than any wide receiver, linebacker, or pass rusher that you were going to get at number 13. And that's the same that goes for me with the Rams. If you look at, what they had to give up to get Matthew Stafford, the quarterback that led them to a Super Bowl last year. What kind of player would they have gotten in last year's first round of the draft that would have been more valuable to a franchise than a quarterback that just led him to a Super Bowl. That's why I think we make too much about, this team's giving up way too much draft capital. The purpose of draft picks is to acquire talent that's going to help you win. Well, I'd rather take draft capital to go get talent that's already proven they can win in the league, or at least you know what you can get with them. I would much rather trade it for NFL talent than prospects coming out, although we do see the impact that these college athletes have coming in to the NFL. But yes, this coming up Thursday, to be exact, the NFL draft. And of course, we'll have coverage all week long. We did talk to our good friend Jason Fitz, who's a regular on the show during the NFL season. He's jacked to come and join the show with us this week as well. In fact, we have him scheduled for Wednesday, so I'm excited to chat with him. So we'll have a lot of guests over the next couple of days leading into Thursday's draft, and I know Kev's pretty excited about that as well, because the one thing about the draft, Kev, that I'm also excited about here today on this Feel Good Monday is the Ohio State Buckeyes that could potentially be taken in the upcoming NFL draft as well. Chris Olave, Garrett Wilson, and more. We'll talk about all of that here throughout the afternoon. But one thing to consider when we're talking about the NFL draft, as I've mentioned, well, the AFC North is always very interesting to me, because that's where your team resides, and your Steelers. That's where my team resides, the Browns, and then that one kitty cat team, like the Cincinnati, the Bengals or the Bengals. No, I would put some respect on their name. The team that was in the Super Bowl last year, the Cincinnati Bengals, and the Baltimore Ravens, of course, with Lamar Jackson. One of the most entertaining divisions in all of football. They may not have the sexiest of draft picks, but all of them have talent, but all of them have needs. In fact, Kev and I are going to kind of go down the list and which two prospects make the most sense for the AFC North teams. We'll talk about all that coming up on the other side. It is the Jocelyn Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Brad Mays with Home Experts Realty, right here on 1410 Wing AM.
Want to see the recipe for the perfect meal? Just stop by Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken for great food on the go with a chicken breast combo for only $5.99. You'll get our classic Famous Recipe chicken breast that's fresh, never frozen. It's honey dipped, hand breaded, and pressure cooked, then served up with a regular side, a fluffy biscuit, and a drink. This is why our chicken is famous. Get the combo that can't be beat with a chicken breast combo for only $5.99. Only at Lee's. Famous for chicken.
Springfest is happening at Lowe's, where you'll find everything you need this season, like premium mulch for our new low price of $2.98 a bag. And the spring savings don't stop there. With select Bonnie 11.8-ounce vegetables, 4 for $10. Shop Lowe's right now for everything Springfest has to offer. Lowe's, home to any budget, home to any possibility. Bonnie offer in-store only. Plant size and selection varies by location. While supplies last, about 4/21 through 4/27. Excludes Alaska and Hawaii.
So is this the line for Dragon's Maze?
Wow, the line is really long.
We'll meet up later.
How long will you wait?
As long as it takes.
So you guys are only going to do this one ride all day?
It won't be that long, probably.
Mom, can you get us food?
But wait, are they cutting?
Caleb, food is so far away.
Should I say something?
Daddy, pick me up. Mom!
Hey, there's a line here.
Daddy, swing me.
That's like 20 people.
Oh my God.
One person holds the line for 20 people? This is bull.
Don't go there. Go on a real vacation. Go RVing. Learn more at GoRVing.com.
Everyone loves shopping online. Well, I'm going to tell you what I tell my golf buddies when they buy clubs. Stop searching for coupon codes. Download Capital One Shopping to your computer. Capital One Shopping instantly searches for available coupon codes and automatically applies them at checkout. Plus, it's free, and you don't even need a Capital One card to use it. That's like hitting a hole in one without even trying. Capital One Shopping. It's kind of genius. What's in your wallet?
Savings and available coupons vary.
Ray Magliozzi here for eBay Motors. Okay, easy now. You're teaching your kid how to parallel park. Ouch! Turns out he likes to do it by feel. Don't worry, eBay Motors has bumpers, taillights, trunk lids, license plate holders, 122 million parts. Pull up just a little bit. And headlights. They've got lots of headlights. Get the right parts at the right prices. eBay Motors. Let's ride.
DQ presents the sound of an all-star summer lineup. Leading off, the promising rookie, new Oreo Dirt Pie. On deck, the fan favorite Girl Scout Thin Mints. Summer standouts, Drumstick with peanuts and cotton candy. And batting cleanup, it's you. With your red spoon and 6 summer blizzard flavors, official treat of MLB. All part of the new DQ All-Star Summer Blizzard lineup. DQ? Happy tastes good.
Welcome to Allstate, where you can really control your savings. Because when you drive less, you save more with pay per mile. So you're really in control of your savings, only paying for the miles you drive. Yeah, life is good when you're in the driver's seat. Allstate. Here, better protection costs a whole lot less. You're in good hands with Allstate. Click, call, or visit allstate.com to save today.
Not available in every state. Savings vary, subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company, Norfolk, Illinois.
5G is here, but the big carriers want you to sign a pricey long-term contract to get access. Well, not anymore, because Straight Talk Wireless has rolled out 5G coverage nationwide with deals like our Silver Unlimited plan for just $45 a month and no contract. And get a Samsung Galaxy A32 5G for $249, all on America's best networks. 5G coverage, 5G phones, less money. Straight Talk Wireless. No contract, no compromise. 5G capable device required. Actual availability, coverage, and speed may vary. See terms and conditions at straighttalk.com.
While we may disagree a lot, we do agree Rural King's our favorite place for spring planting.
Yeah, but we've got to focus. Roses, a couple flats of impatiens, and a spade.
A shovel? I'm thinking tiller.
We do not need a tiller.
Wait, a mower. Those new zero turns are sweet.
Focus. Roses, mulch, shovel, impatiens.
Jeez, talk about impatient.
Can I help you?
Yeah, chainsaws.
Let's go.
I'm almost done mowing this section.
Ridiculous.
Are you in need of a notary?
Your Montgomery County Clerk of Court's office now offers a free online notary.
This service does require a camera.
Next time you need a notary, go to courthouse2u.com and click Online Notary to submit your request. You can get it done right in your own home or office.
Did we mention there's no cost to you?
This is a free service brought to you by Mike Foley, your Montgomery County Clerk of Courts.
Do you know what people see when they Google you? Search engines don't always get it right. And when they're wrong, it's your reputation on the line. So what do you do when you don't agree with your search results? Call Reputation Defender at 800-401-6681. Reputation Defender is one of the most trusted names in online reputation repair. We have over a decade of experience in fixing people's search results, and we can help you too. Using cutting-edge approaches, Reputation Defender pushes unflattering information down to lower pages of your search results, where few people ever look. We also promote the good stuff so that it rises to the top, letting you put your best foot forward. Your good name is too valuable to leave to the whims of a Google algorithm. You owe it to yourself to take control with Reputation Defender. Visit www.reputationdefender.com or call 800-401-6681 for free advice on your situation. That's 800-401-6681.
Staples stores are a new world of possible with innovative tools for small business and remote workers and learners. Explore more at your local Staples store or staplesconnect.com.
Rob's Beer Barn is stocked with the newest seasonal beers and refreshments. That means Rob's Beer Barn has you covered for all your needs, including while you're enjoying all Reds baseball games this month. At Rob's, you can find all the ice-cold refreshments you'll need. Craft, imported, local, and seasonal beers, fine wines, snacks, and ice. Plus, Rob's has apparel. For last-minute items, you can call, walk in, or drive through. Stop in and stock up today. Rob's Beer Barn on Indian Ripple Road at Darst, just a mile east of the Green. Rob's Beer Barn, just look for the Beaver.
Cordell Transportation is now hiring Class A CDL drivers. $5,000 sign-on bonus. That's right, $5,000 sign-on bonus. Home daily dedicated lanes, no touch freight. Apply today at CordellTransportation.com. Cordell Transportation, driven to succeed.
If you need new roofing, siding, or gutters, skylights, or patio enclosures, if you're a homeowner or business and need someone you can trust, don't take a chance. Enhance with Lance. Lance Roofing and Siding in Fairborn has been satisfying customers since 1993 and hold an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. Lance Roofing and Siding, 8460 Dayton Springfield Road in Fairborn. Call for a free estimate at 864-2722. That's 864-2722 or online at lanceroofing.com. You have empty office space to fill or home office to create. You know what you need. You know what you'd like. But you also have a pretty good idea after you've shopped around the usual places what you need and what you like like might not happen. Well, then you haven't been to Charles Larrick's Warehouse Outlet. Nobody has their selection. Nobody has their discounts. And every week, there's something new. If you need office furniture, Larrick's Warehouse Outlet can sell it to you for half the price and below manufacturer's selected prices. Half price and below on hundreds of items. Selection from budget to the best. Really, desks from $50 to $5,000. Filing cabinets from $25 to $500. Before you go anywhere else, do yourself a favor and come to Larrick's Warehouse Outlet. With 25,000 square feet of selection, you're not going to go anywhere else. Larrick's Warehouse Outlet at 23 McOil Avenue, Dayton. Open Monday through Friday, 9 to 6. Larrick's, continuing the tradition.
All right, welcome back. It's the Justin Kidder Show with Kev Nash, presented by Brad Mays with Home Experts Realty. 518-1410. That's the number to call and jump in on the conversation. But we are live on Facebook. That's where you can find the show and watch the show and interact with the show in the chat and comment section. Of course, we're also live on Twitter, ESPN Dayton, and then YouTube, ESPN Dayton's YouTube channel. So go and check that out. I'm about to talk things all. That's right, NFL Draft. The NFL Draft begins this Thursday, round 1. No Browns in the first round, of course, as they traded their first round pick, along with one of many, to acquire Deshaun Watson from the Houston Texans, of course. And the Cincinnati Bengals, they do have a first round pick, and it's not the number 1, or the number 5, or the number 10, or the number 11. I mean, it's 31. It's a boring pick. It's a very boring pick, but it's also a team that just because you got to a Super Bowl a year ago does not mean that you take your foot off the gas. It's actually an opportunity to start adding depth at certain positions as well as plugging holes at others. I mean, Cincinnati wasn't a perfect team a year ago, but give them credit. They were playing perfect football down the stretch and at the most important time, and that's definitely, very key and important. Nolan Russell on Facebook, Kev, says, the draft is big for the Bengals next 3 years. They need a couple quality starters out of this draft for the future. A couple meaning 3 to 4. A couple meaning 3 to 4 exactly, especially at the safety position, because as I've said before, and this isn't a hot take, we had Jay Morrison, who covers the Cincinnati Bengals, on with us last week, and straight up, or maybe it doesn't matter, it was a week, 2 weeks ago, whenever, basically said he doesn't believe that Jesse Bates will play with the Cincinnati Bengals past the 2022 season. Not because Bates isn't good enough, or not because the front office, now I'm defending the front office on this. It's smart to not extend Jesse Bates because keep in mind, there's a lot of players that you have to extend, and you have to start not prioritizing talent, but prioritizing positions. And as good as Jesse Bates is, and to be honest, you're going to take care of Wilson. They've already taken care of Hubbard, but you got to understand, is Jesse Bates a better safety than Wilson is a linebacker? Yes. You know what I mean? You look at Hubbard at his position. Hubbard is good at his position, but not as good at his position as what Jesse Bates is at his. But it's all about prioritizing the needs of a team and the positions of a team when it comes to all of these guys who want money and only a limited amount within the pie. So there's that. But at the end of the day, it's going to be interesting to see what ends up happening here with the Bengals heading into this. So as we kick things off here, Kev, with the NFL draft coming up, we'll go ahead and hit little NFL music in the background to kind of set the tone here on this Monday, just a few days away from the start to the NFL draft. We're going to go through the AFC North and talk about which 2 draft prospects we think makes the most sense for both teams. You want to start with the Baltimore Ravens. We'll start from the bottom up. Last year's last place team, who, let's just be clear, a last place team due to injuries. That roster is stacked. It was stacked on the defensive side of the ball. It was very, very good on the offensive side of the ball with deficiencies, or with question marks, I should say. They finally were able to go out and get Lamar Jackson some weapons. I thought they had a solid draft offensively, but again, between Lamar's injuries, the running back room just becoming just annihilated before the season even started, the Ravens basically using practice squad defensive backs for the majority of the season. On top of that, that wasn't a typical Baltimore Ravens team. They were last place, but not because they were a bad football team, because they weren't a healthy football team. Got to assume, all things being equal, they're healthy heading into this season. With that last year's roster, with the additions of these upcoming draft picks, what do you think that what couple prospects do you think can come in and make a huge impact right away, Kevin?
If I'm in the office of the Baltimore Ravens with the 14th pick in this draft, I'm looking at two guys. One guy I'm looking at is Jermaine Johnson, the defensive end out of Florida State. He transferred from Georgia to Florida State and was ACC Defensive Player of the Year, had like 13 sacks and everything like that. He's a plug-and-play type of guy for the Baltimore Ravens. He can play the end. He can play the outside linebacker. They run a multiple defense out there with the Baltimore Ravens. It just seems like a guy that they always need to have on that team, somebody that can get a pass rush off the edge. They didn't really have that last year. That was another one of their problems that was plaguing them, because you had those walk-ons playing DB, but then they're not getting any pressure on the quarterback outside of Calais Campbell.
They're on an island back
there. If you got all day to throw and you're not that good anyway, of course you're going to get toasted. So I say that they would try to go after Jermaine Johnson, a guy that can get pressure off the edge. The second guy, if I'm the Baltimore Ravens, I'm looking at Kyle Hamilton, the safety out of Notre Dame, rangy safety, dude that can play sideline to sideline, can play box safety, can play free safety. I don't want to dare say the Hall of Famer, probably the best safety or one of the best safeties of all time, Ed Reed, but when you play that position and you're drafted in the first round with the Baltimore Ravens, those comparisons are going to come up a ton. If you can be half as good as Ed Reed, you'll be damn good playing for the Baltimore Ravens. So if I'm them, I'm looking at Jermaine Johnson, the DN out of Florida State, or Kyle Hamilton, the safety out of Notre Dame with the 14th pick for the Baltimore Ravens.
For me, the Ravens have quite a few, not really, they have quite a few holes, but they're a deep roster. But Lamar Jackson, they've not got a deal done with him yet. They will get a deal done with him. And he will take up the majority of their cap space, which means they're going to have to start picking and choosing. And I think that it started with Orlando Brown and guys like that. I think it's already started with already kind of cutting some loose ends, or at least talented guys that they knew they're not going to be able to invest money into, knowing that they're putting money to the side to take care of Lamar when that time comes. So it's one of those things where this is an important draft really for them as well, because once Lamar gets paid, they're in the same boat as Cleveland with the top paid quarterback, and with the Bengals boat, the boat that they'll be in here in a year once they pay Joe Burrow, or at least in the next 2 years, because they'll probably push Joe Burrow's. They'll manipulate the cap the way the Browns did with. So the Bengals are good for the next 2 years as far as the cap flexibility goes. But the Ravens right now, it's interesting because you look at the division that has T.J. Watt, Myles Garrett, and I'll put Trey Hendrickson in there. I laughed at Bengals fans when they tried telling me that Hendrickson is as good as Watt and as Myles Garrett. Let's put it this way. If I had to redraft the AFC North and Myles Garrett and Myles Garrett and Watt are off the board, and I'm stuck with Hendrickson, you're stuck with the third best pass rusher in the AFC North and one of the top pass rushers in the AFC. Three dominant pass rushers, and the Ravens don't have one. I think it's Tyus Bowser, if I'm not mistaken, that they have, that just not very effective. So you mentioned Jermaine Johnson. There's the kid from Purdue that's getting a lot of push right now, that Karlaftis or George Karlaftis, or another good pass rusher out of Purdue, very good defensive player. The Ravens are going to have to attack that. They're going to have to go at, they have to get a pass rusher, because you got to put pressure on Joe Burrow. You got to put pressure on, obviously, the Browns and their quarterback situation right now. And you got to put pressure on, yes, even the Steelers quarterback. So there's that. But you got to take care of all these guys right now in position, because Trubisky, you got to put pressure on him. His efficiency numbers drop with pressure in his face, which, by the way, that's common for most quarterbacks. Not everyone can be Joe Burrow. So there's that. But, yes, between the quarterback surges in the AFC North, it's important to get to the quarterback. The Ravens have good defensive backs. They can always get better at safety, of course, right now, but they have to find a way to put pressure on the quarterback. And then offensive line, if you want to go there, a need for them too. That Tyler Linderbaum kid, we're going to be mentioning him a lot probably over the next couple of minutes, but if he's there for the Ravens, I don't know how you pass up on him as well, but I do think that Linderbaum would be a pick that's going to address a lot of needs for the future. But I think that right now the Ravens are thinking about winning now, which means Jermaine Johnson, or the Karlaftis kid out of Purdue, and I'm butchering that kid's name, my apologies. I think that they're going to go with the guy that can help them win now and win for the future, and I think that's going to be a pass rusher. But if Tyler Linderbaum's there, it's going to be tough for them to pass up on him. I know he's getting knocked down the board a little bit with the short arms, the dinosaur arms, as we talked about before the show. But
he's a wrestler; he'll be perfectly fine.
Yeah, I think that the Ravens are in good shape right now. They're they're drafting where they are because of the injuries. They would not be drafting right here if they had a fully healthy season. So this is a chance for them to get a very good quality player in the middle of the draft where they probably would not have been had their running back room and defensive backs and Lamar stayed healthy all last season. So a good opportunity for the Ravens to improve for the now and the future this coming up Thursday.
Absolutely. I'm with you.
Coming up next, the Cleveland Browns. The Cleveland Browns, of course, two prospects out of the draft that you think make the most sense for them. They don't have a first-round pick, but they do have an early second-round pick, I believe at number 12 in the second round. What about the Cleveland Browns? We'll start with you.
For the Cleveland Browns, they got the 44th pick overall in the second round. It's wide receiver. It's wide receiver, wide receiver, wide receiver, wide receiver. For me, it's either Jahan Dotson out of Penn State or it's George Pickens out of the national champions Georgia Bulldogs. You need another guy, not only on the team, but just in that room in general, because I hear all this talk about Jarvis Landry returning and yada, yada, yada. He's a veteran receiver and everything like that. Well, Jarvis didn't have a good year last year outside of the injuries. He had a case of the dropsies, which is new for him, the fumblies, which is new for him, and being injured, which is new for him. If I'm the Cleveland Browns, I'm going new. I've gone new with my quarterback. I've changed up things on my offensive line. I'm going new here. I'm going new and I'm going young because the guys that you had before, they weren't getting separation like that anyway. So I'm going young. I'm going to either go George Pickens out of Georgia wide receiver or Jahan Dotson receiver out of Penn State.
So and look, I think for right now, the Browns, it's all about pass rush. They have to. I mean, Myles Garrett, I get that they have that. But last year, Jadeveon Clowney, and the Browns have been going hard after Jadeveon Clowney. I still think that they end up with Jadeveon Clowney. But I think that right now they need to play. If it's Jadeveon Clowney, it's a one-year deal again. Mm-hmm. So the Browns need to draft as if they don't have Jadeveon Clowney, whether they have Jadeveon Clowney or not, because depth is never a bad thing. So if you have Jadeveon Clowney and you can add another pass rusher within the mix, I think you go ahead and do it. And I know Jadeveon Clowney at linebacker, of course, depending on where they use him, they kind of maneuver him around a bit. But I think that the DeMarvin Lewis kid, I really like him out of Texas A&M. But
you think he'll be there in the second round?
Look, right now, it's tough to see who's going to drop and who's going to go because it's a wide receiver deep draft.
Right.
A lot of play. I mean, the wide receiver position has taken off over the last 2 years. It was weird. I mean, last year, like right now, if a team took a wide receiver in the top 10 or the top 5, so much has changed within the last year. It was almost weird talking about the Bengals wasting a top 5 pick on a wide receiver, but look at the impact that it had right off the bat. And the NFL is such a trendy league that once something works once, everyone's going to overdo it until there's way more examples of it not working than working in the immediate, happenings. I still think that wide receiver is going to be where a lot of people go, and it's also deep as far as secondary is concerned. Pass rush, there's a lot of guys in there as well, but I think someone like him can drop back a bit. I don't know. I think that the Browns definitely need help as far as that's concerned with pass rush. I think they can go with someone like that, but I also agree with you about the wide receiver as far as that's concerned. What's crazy is there's still a lot of very good wide receivers in the free agent market. OBJ is still out there. There's still talks of OBJ reuniting in Cleveland as well as Jarvis Landry. It could be both of those two going back to Cleveland together. And if you have Amari Cooper and Jarvis Landry at 2 and OBJ at 3, and OBJ could be good enough if he returns to form, which I'm tired of saying that because I'm giving up on that. But that's a very good number 3 weapon to have. I think the Browns would have just as good of a wide receiving core. If they have Amari Cooper, Jarvis, and OBJ, that's as good as what Cincinnati has. Is it better than what Cincinnati has? I don't know if I can go there, but it would be as good as what they have as far as explosiveness. Plus, I think that Deshaun Watson would just utilize that perfectly. But I think it's very important for Cleveland to get the pass rush figured out. Jadeveon Clowney or not, go get a pass rush no matter what ends up happening. I think that's very important because for right now, Cleveland, pass rush. Find a way to get to Joe Burrow. Find a way to get to Lamar Jackson. Find a way to get to the Steelers and whoever their quarterback is. Maybe it's going to be Baker Mayfield. You never know at this point. But yes, I like the DeMarvin Leal kid from Texas A&M, whether it's Perion Winfrey, Cameron Thomas, it don't matter. Go get a pass rusher. Whoever's there, go get him. And wide receiver, same thing. I don't know who's going to be available come that second round, but I don't think any of the top guys like Garrett Wilson or Chris Olave are going to be there like we had hoped.
Could have had him. But you just had to go ahead and get Deshaun Watson. Just couldn't.
I hate when guys get franchise quarterbacks. I hate when teams do that.
So we moving on to my team, right?
Absolutely.
The black and yellow. Pittsburgh Steelers are drafting number 20 overall in the first round. For me, I think it's pretty simple, but for a lot of people out there, it's not. And a lot of things that we're seeing on the mock draft board and everything like that, it's the Steelers taking a quarterback. Look, man, I'm not cool on any of these quarterbacks in the first round, to be perfectly honest. I think Malik Willis is the best of the bunch, but I don't think he's a first round caliber draft pick. I think there's ways that you can fix the team and be a lot better than putting another quarterback into that room. So for me, I would pray that the Steelers, if he's there, would draft Jordan Davis, the defensive tackle out of Georgia. He's a big guy. He's a mountain in the inside. When you have a guy at the nose tackle position, because the Steelers play a 3-4, that means he's going to get double teamed. That means either Cameron Hayward or TJ Watt are going to be blocked solo. I think it's pretty easy for me, man. Like, you're not going to block TJ Watt solo. You saw what happened on Monday Night Football against the Cleveland Browns. He got 4 sacks, for goodness sakes. So that means Cameron Hayward's going to be able to get off. And it makes it easier for your linebackers in the run game and everything like that. So for me, I think it's hands down, if he's there for the Pittsburgh Steelers to draft, it should be Jordan Davis. But if he's gone and he's not there, I think it's Chris Olave. Chris Olave is considered to be like that 3rd, 4th receiver to come off the board and everything like that. He should be there around the 20 spot. The Steelers are in need of another wide receiver with Juju going to the Kansas City Chiefs. Everything that's going on with Deontay Johnson, he's wanting a contract extension. So if he ultimately isn't with the team or he is traded, you have somebody else you can slide into that spot. But if he does show up, Chris Olave has shown the ability not only to play on the outside, but he's also shown the ability to play in the slot. So for me, for the Steelers, I think it's Jordan Davis or Chris Olave.
So interesting. And what I hope that the Steelers don't do, and this is it doesn't matter who my team is. This is me analyzing this, no matter who the team is. No quarterback should go in this first round.
Don't reach, man. Don't reach.
Just because Pittsburgh needs a quarterback doesn't mean you take a quarterback that's the best of what this draft has to offer.
Exactly. And because next year is loaded.
Yes. So, and if the Steelers have it their way, they'll win enough games to where they may not be in position to go get those. But at the same time, you still can't just take the best quarterback that's on this year's board just because you need a quarterback right now. Look the quarterback movement in the league. If you need a quarterback that badly, you can go get one. If you need to unload draft picks, you can go do it. If you need to unload on talent to go do it, fine. Is that the Steeler way? No. But I do think that the Steeler way could change a bit if they go a few years with the Steeler way not working in regards to getting their quarterback. Obviously I don't think Trubisky's the long-term solution, but there are worse bridge quarterbacks to have. And I still think that bridge quarterbacks, it's tough to win with bridge quarterbacks. I actually think the Steelers could win with this bridge quarterback. The only reason I see them not winning with this bridge quarterback is because of how good the division is, and not because I think that Trubisky is so bad that they can't win with him. They just won with the geriatric Big Ben and made it to the playoffs. So I still think that they could win with him. But I like the Jahan Dotson kid, the wide receiver out of Penn State. 1,100 yards last year. I forgot how many touchdowns he had. Drake London's another name if he falls that far. I don't know if he does. But I think the Steelers right now, they need to focus on, yes, what I'm talking about, I talked to the importance of prioritizing. You would always prioritize quarterback over wide receiver. That's if you have a chance to get a guy that can help you win right now. But if you get a wide receiver right now, the Steelers could be very, very good.
Yes.
And I think that a Drake London or the Jahan Dotson or a Chris Olave or whoever could potentially be there, you get that. They will have a bigger impact on this upcoming season than what any quarterback in this draft will have over the next 5 years. I don't see any of these guys. Malik Willis, maybe. But, if you get it wrong there, I'd rather you get it wrong with him than to take him and be wrong because you took him. Because at this point, I think you're doing yourself more harm than good. Because I would rather the Steelers, if you're a Steelers fan, get a Chris Olave, get a Jahan Dotson, get a Drake London, get a receiver now that Mitch Trubisky's not your quarterback of the future, but when your quarterback of the future comes here, now he has weapons already waiting for him.
Right.
I hate when teams wait to get a quarterback before they add weapons. I think that that's dumb because at that time it stunts the growth of your quarterback. Trevor Lawrence, his growth is being stunted right now because they don't
Except for that game against the Colts, baby.
How about that? Yeah. So it's just one of those
He looked like he was back at Clemson, didn't he?
So no matter who free agent quarterbacks are or potential trade situations, look at last year, Aaron Rodgers was flirting with Pittsburgh. So if something happened where they ended up getting him. Imagine him coming in and having weapons to work. Oh, no, but you took a quarterback in the first round because who knows what could happen after next year. Green Bay ain't winning anything next year, so then he's going to throw a crybaby fit next year and want out. Pittsburgh's still not out of the, they could still be in the running to get Aaron Rodgers when it's all said and done, so we'll see what happens. But yes, wide receiver, I like the kid out of Penn State.
I feel you. And another thing about the Steelers, just because obviously it's my team, there's other quarterbacks out there that are basically the same caliber. Like, I know they have a thing about Kenny Pickett and his hand size and everything like that. But, if the Steelers were able to grab a Desmond Ridder in the second or third round, I'm cool with that. But I'm just a firm believer that your first overall draft pick in the first round should be a guy that should be starting for you. Like, he should be a starter. You're using draft capital. You're paying a lot of money for somebody to come in and contribute. If you're drafting a guy to come hold a clipboard, it's not 1995 anymore, dude. This ain't the Carson Palmer days where he was able to sit behind John Kitna. And let's be clear, Mr. Trubisky ain't John Kitna. I would love to have John Kitna on my team as my quarterback right about now.
I think he's Alex Smith.
Oh, man, shoot. Dude, Alex Smith is a very good quarterback. Like, he's was in the league for a very long time, won a lot of games. So, like, if Mr. Trubisky is that, if he's Alex Smith, we're going to the playoffs.
Because everyone tries to recreate that Alex Smith,
Mahomes,
Patrick Mahomes scenario. What is wrong with me today? I can literally blank.
It's Monday, don't worry.
I guess that's what it is. But they keep trying to recreate that. But the thing is, Alex Smith, if the Chiefs didn't get Patrick Mahomes, the Chiefs are going to continue to win 10 to 12 games, continue to contend in that division, and continue to be a Super Bowl contender. Would they be as dominant as they are now? No. But you see my point. So, yeah, I think that the Steelers would be okay. Up next, the Cincinnati Bengals. The Cincinnati Bengals were 3 seconds away from potentially winning the Super Bowl last year. That's all Joe Burrow needed. And 3 is a lot. I mean, maybe one more second in the pocket to find Jamar Chase wide open up that right sideline to potentially catch a game-winning touchdown to win the Super Bowl, the franchise's first ever Super Bowl. Less than that. So they addressed the offensive line. They added key pieces, headlined by La'el Collins, the big one that they got from Dallas, of course. And now we head into this draft where they have probably the best wide receiving core. Are there better groups? I think there's better wide receiver tandems in the NFL than the Bengals have. But as far as wide receiving core, I think the Bengals have the best one. If when you look at Boyd, if Boyd's your worst wide receiver of 3, you're pretty damn good. You're pretty. Tyler Boyd's the best number 3 receiver in the NFL, hands down, and is probably a good number 2 receiver. So that's how deep they are as far as their starters are concerned as pass catchers. Joe Mixon I like, but I don't like how they used him last year as far as not using him on 3rd and 4th down. That's one of your highest paid players. That's one of the premier backs in the league, and you're purposely keeping him on the sideline because the analytics show that, he's not that good on 3rd and 4th down. You should have paid him then. You should have kept him. And by the way, I do think he's very, very good. I'm just saying, I can't believe they were trying to convince us of that. I thought that was kind of silly. So there's still needs. They got some depth issues on defense that they need to address. The O-line, just because you added 3 pieces doesn't mean that all of a sudden you have the best one in football. You could always add depth. Kev, where should the Bengals be looking with the number 31 pick? What name of a prospect or 2 makes the most sense?
Tyler Linderbaum. If he's there, he's sliding in the draft for having short arms and all that. Okay, fine. Whatever. Look, man, there's certain things that I personally like in offensive linemen. If you're a tackle, I would like you to have a basketball background. That means you can move your feet and all that type of stuff. If you're an interior guy, a guard, or a center, I want you to have a wrestling background. That means you can get physical with your hands and all those twisty moves that the wrestler guys do and everything like that. He was an all-state wrestler. He could have been on the wrestling team at Iowa. People that don't know, Iowa has one of the best wrestling programs in the country. Tyler Linderbaum is going to be a dog. Hopefully he's a dog for your team. Don't let this dude end up on somebody else. Because I, as a Steelers fan, wanted the Pittsburgh Steelers to draft Creed Humphrey. Creed Humphrey just helped the Kansas City Chiefs get to the AFC Championship and was one of the best offensive linemen in the league as a rookie. So put the connections here, man. Like this whole arm length thing, I'm not buying it. I think he's going to be outstanding for whoever he goes to. Cincinnati Bengals, if he's there at 31, you better grab him. You better turn that card in immediately.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you on that, too. Linderbaum, again, is a name earlier. I said, man, we're going to be saying that name quite a few times over the next few minutes, this part of the show. That's a name that started out as one of the hottest O-line targets in this draft. And now as you're hearing reports of, Bengals fans were shocked that his name was being brought up for them even being available that far.
Right.
And then all of a sudden there's reports of him potentially dropping into the early portions of the second round, which, by the way, there's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
But I think that, guys are going to miss out on a very good center because of, short arms. But, we're not asking him to pay the bill. You're asking him to do his job, and he's done a very good job during his entire college career at this time. The Trevor Penning kid, too, is not bad as far as that's concerned. The Bengals, just because you addressed O-line in free agency, you can't get cute now. You can't just say, well, we checked that off the box. I mean, depth is going to be key because you added 3, but you still have a lot of remaining pieces that were a part of historically bad offensive line on top of that. I don't care that offensive line, Zach Taylor, that all line took us to the Super Bowl. 70 sacks, dude. You added 3. There's a lot more holes to still fill. And, I'm really curious. The kid they got from Alabama a few years ago, Jonah Williams. Mm-hmm. I read a report today. Zach Taylor says, they like the way he's progressing and they're very excited that he's on the team. Does that sound like a very big vote of confidence, Kev? You ask him. So tell us about Joe Burrow. Oh, man, he's a leader. Man, the team loves him. He's such a great quarterback. They'll go into detail about how great he is. You ask about Jonah Williams, he's getting better, and we're just excited that he's on the team. That's what they used to say about Baker Mayfield and Cliff. Well, he's doing the things we're asking of him, and he's a fighter, he's tough, and yeah, we don't care about that. I'd rather him be a little bit more wimpy and be able to throw the ball down the field a little bit better. You know what I mean? So that's where I'm at. I just think that the Bengals aren't as locked up at O-line as what they think. But for this coming up year and maybe the year after, with the money that they're going to have and all that, I think that they'll be okay. But they got to start thinking about the long term, and Tyler Linderbaum could be a part of that long-term solution as far as fine-tuning that OL. So I think they're okay. It's funny, on ESPN, they said that the Cincinnati Bengals, the quiet need is a defensive line. That they need to start adding some pass rushers, but the biggest need is defensive back. Because
I'm glad you went there.
Von Bell is going to be. He has one more year left on his deal, and Jesse Bates, they're using the tag on him. He's done after this year. He's not going to be in Cincinnati after this year. That's okay. That's fine. You got better things coming as far as where that money is going to be pushed to. But if there's a way that you can get one of these big-time cornerbacks or defensive backs to lock up for the next couple of years, you got to start to be thinking about that. The Bengals are going to become very cheap on the defensive side of the ball very quick because all their money is going to the offensive side. All their money has been on the defensive side as they've loaded up on rookies on the offensive side. But eventually, when those offensive rookies over the next couple of years, when they kind of keep progressing and all the money goes to them, Kev, they're not going to have a lot of money to fine-tune that defense. If they can start hitting on some big picks right now, that'll be huge to set up the transition into the Burrow contract era.
Yeah, and that's why I had 2 more on my list for the Cincinnati Bengals. I would say either Andrew Booth, the cornerback out of Clemson, or shouts out to our great listeners out there up in the great state of Michigan, Daxton Hill, the safety out of Michigan. I would say him because what you just brought up, everything that's going on in the secondary with Von Bell coming into the last year of his contract and everything else that's going on in the secondary with guys that are potentially going to walk after this year or be traded. You know what I'm saying? You get somebody in the mix already. So I will go after one of those DBs, and I think that Daxton Hill will be there towards the back end of the first round for the Cincinnati Bengals.
Doug Toby, a Bengals fan, says the Bengals may be a little leery about taking a center, got burnt in 1983. Doug, I love you, but I don't think the Bengals are going to be shy of taking a center because of what happened in 83. But he said, Dave Remington.
40 years ago.
First round, you've heard of the Dave Remington trophy. He was a flop, just saying. No, Doug, you're right. Look, if they don't take him, I don't think it's that big of a deal. I do think if they don't take him, who they take will justify that. I learned that a year ago. I was pissed they didn't take Penei Sewell, but you know what? Who they took instead definitely justified it. So I think that the Bengals have to be careful. I think Linderbaum, if the Bengals have been aggressive the last couple of drafts, Kev, if they wanted to go safe this draft, Linderbaum's the guy to go. They're not going to anger anybody with taking him. It makes a lot of sense to do it. But I'll give Duke Tobin and Katie Blackburn credit. They've been aggressive. They've been taking kickers in the 5th round. They've been trading up. I mean, they've just, it's hard to knock them. In that draft, they got Joe Burrow, T. Higgins, and Logan Wilson all in the same draft. I can't bash them too much right now. They're on a roll. When this is the heat check draft, though. Heat check, like when you've hit a couple, you go down, heat check, it's not a good shot.
What normally happens when you heat check,
Kenner? Clang. But this is people have asked me my thoughts on the Bengals draft. This is the heat check draft. You've nailed a couple drafts now. Can you keep it going, or is this going to be the one that clangs off the back of the iron? This isn't a shot at the Bengals. I'm actually saying they've killed it the last 2 years. can they keep it going? So if they want to go safe, they've been aggressive the last two. Safe is going with Linderbaum if he's available there, because I think that addresses the offensive line, although they've done it in free agency. I think the national media will just say, oh, good for them. They see Joe Burrow. They're taking care of him. Good job for the Bengals. But if they go somewhere else, Kev, if they go safety or they go cornerback, I'm not going to fault him for that. All right, so I'm not really going to be too critical of the Bengals on this draft. I think that if they go safe route, they'll go O-line. But if they want to be aggressive and really go after trying to replace Von Bell after this year or even Jesse Bates, I think it's smart to kind of keep their eyes open for some of those guys. But the thing is, you could do that in later rounds and still get Linderbaum. That's all. But we'll see. All right, and that wraps up this portion of the show. The NFL draft coming up this Thursday. No Browns in the first round. Bengals with the number 31 pick. And we're excited for that coming up. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash. We'll be back in just a few minutes.
Cutting the price of your wireless bill feels good, really good. Actually, it feels great. You should try it out. So cut your bill by switching to Straight Talk Wireless, now offering our $45 Silver Unlimited plan with 5 gigabytes of hotspot and nationwide 5G on America's largest, most dependable networks. The $45 Silver Unlimited plan from Straight Talk. Straight Talk Wireless. No contract, no compromise.
A month equals 30 days. See terms and conditions at straighttalk.com. 5G capable device required. Actual availability, coverage, and speed may vary.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. Dashboard light problems? We can help. Our free Fix Finder service can read your check engine light, ABS light, and service indicator light, and give you possible solutions, verified by licensed technicians. You'll even get detailed results sent straight to your email so you have them when you need it most. It's the most complete free warning light report backed by technician-verified fixes. The free Fix Finder service, only at AutoZone.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
More details at AutoZone.com.
This is a metaphor for your business's journey. Sometimes it feels like you're going 100 miles an hour, barely keeping up. But to cruise through challenges, you need someone who's right there with you. That's what Dell Technologies advisors do. They have the Windows PCs and tech advice you need to get past whatever's in front of you and get where you want to go. Call an advisor today at 877-ASK-DELL. That's 877-ASK-DELL. A start to a simpler experience with Windows 11 Pro.
Something you probably do know. Progressive can not only offer you a great price when you bundle home and auto, they offer you round-the-clock protection. Something you probably don't know, the average garage door is made up of 1.3 millimeter aluminum panels. Something you probably do know, your neighbor likes to tinker with his dirt bike. Something you probably don't know, a runaway dirt bike can take out your garage door and a good portion of your car bumper. Bundle your home and auto with Progressive and get more than a great price. Get round-the-clock protection. Something you know for the things you don't know. Coverage from Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and third-party insurers, and subject to policy terms. Bundle discount not available in all states or situations.
Do you or any of your family members, neighbors, or friends own a property that you just want to be done with it? If so, call TurboTrack Realty today for an all-cash offer at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000. Would it be convenient for you to take what you wanted and leave the rest behind? Great, I'll buy it. Call 614-470-2000. That's 614-470-2000.
This is a metaphor for your business's journey. Sometimes it feels like you're going 100 miles an hour, barely keeping up. But to cruise through challenges, you need someone who's right there with you. That's what Dell Technologies advisors do. They have the Windows PCs and tech advice you need to get past whatever's in front of you and get where you want to go. Call an advisor today at 877-ASK-DELL. That's 877-ASK-DELL. A start to a simpler experience with Windows 11 Pro.
Something you probably do know. Progressive can not only offer you a great price when you bundle home and auto, they offer you round-the-clock protection. Something you probably don't know, the average garage door is made up of 1.3 millimeter aluminum panels. Something you probably do know, your neighbor likes to tinker with his dirt bike. Something you probably don't know, a runaway dirt bike can take out your garage door and a good portion of your car bumper. Bundle your home and auto with Progressive and get more than a great price. Get round-the-clock protection. Something you know for the things you don't know. Coverage from Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and third-party insurers, and subject to policy terms. Bundle discount not available in all states or situations.
When it comes to your credit card, Discover believes in having real people available 24/7 to help answer your questions. Discover. Exceptionally common sense.
If you're looking to buy or sell your home, give Brad Mays a call today. Brad Mays with Home Experts Realty. There you see on the screen for those of you hanging out with us on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. 937-572-7425. Give Brad Mays a call today with Home Experts Realty if you're looking to buy or sell your home. Justin Kinner, Kev Nash, back with you here on a Monday.
Twitter
What
just
about
sold.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
I don't know why people keep making a big deal about that. Why are they mad because one billionaire is selling it to another billionaire? Why does it matter?
I'm just looking at how much money this dude just paid for Twitter.
I'm excited about the deal I got on our flights for a honeymoon earlier. These guys talking about the deals they got on Twitter. Good for you guys.
Goodness gracious. We need to come up with an app so he can buy it from us.
We used to have an app.
No, I mean a Kenner and Kev app. That's what we need to make.
We got enough going on. Not enough time in the day. All right, we welcome you back. I'm Justin Kinner. He's Kev Nash. And, coming up, everyone knows I'm a big LeBron James fan. And there's a big star in the NBA doing something now that if LeBron would be doing, he'd be destroyed. And although this star's still getting a lot of criticism, it's not the same level of criticism. But we'll talk about that coming up here in hour number 2. We just got done talking a little NFL draft situation with the AFC North as far as which 2 prospects we think would be the most beneficial for each team in the AFC North. And it's funny how some of the needs are kind of similar across the board. But pass rush and safeties and defensive backs and, yes, even wide receivers at that for Cleveland and Pittsburgh. But we'll see what the wide receivers in Baltimore have to offer at that, as we're still waiting to see, is it the Lamar, the passing deficiencies in Baltimore? Is it lack of weapons, or is it just lack of, I'm going to say lack of ability, because Lamar's still a very good passing quarterback. He's not a bad passing quarterback, but he's not an elite passing quarterback. So that's why I think things get a little dicey. I think what you're starting to see too is the NFL is becoming, these athletes are becoming such freakish athletes that they're able to dominate in more than just one. I mean, it's so different than when you go to a high school football game and watch kids play on both sides of the ball or play multiple positions on one side of the ball, are capable of doing that. And in the NFL, we're so trained to, you're a running back, you're a running back, you're a wide receiver, you're a wide receiver, you're a quarterback, you're a quarterback. But we're starting to see these hybrid athletes like these Deebo Samuels, and yes, even Lamar Jackson. I don't even like just saying Lamar's only a running quarterback. To call him a running quarterback means he can only run and not pass. He maybe not an elite passer, but the dude could pass. He could pass the football. He just doesn't do it. It's not as sexy as watching Patrick Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers, and even a Joe Burrow do it at this point. But the point is he still can pass the football, but it's his running ability that makes him elite. But he does multiple things great. That's what we're starting to see the NFL athlete become more of, Kev, more dynamic, more versatile. And I think it's kind of clouding the waters of even how agents are approaching negotiations for contracts. Because I said last week, Deebo Samuel, probably 5 years ago, Kenner would have said, "Oh my gosh, you're being a crybaby. Go do your job." I'll do anything to help my team win. But he's right. We've talked about how in our job has been, for those listening, your companies were impacted by COVID, as people lost their jobs. If you were fortunate to keep it, I'm pretty sure you absorbed a lot of responsibilities of those who lost their job. And I'm sure your bosses didn't say, "But we appreciate the extra work you're doing, so we're going to pay you more." No, you absorbed more responsibilities, all while getting paid the same rate to do your job. And I'm sure at some point you thought, my title says I'm this, but I'm doing this, and that's this title's responsibility. That's what Deebo Samuel's doing. So we can't hold that against Deebo Samuel. What I'm shocked, Kev, is that we have not seen a quarterback use that same mindset. If I'm Lamar Jackson and I go look at the distribution of what he's doing for the run game, he's the run game. And J.K. Dobbins very good too, by the way. That's why they had 2,000 yards rushing, because Lamar was a whole other running back on the field. Yes, that's not an insult to him. That's talking about, I know we get into the coded language of trying to kind of devalue African-American quarterbacks, but when I say that he's an extra running back on the field, that's not coded language. That's just common sense. He's an extra damn running back on the field when you rush for 1,000 yards in a season, all while your actual running back also rushes for 1,000 yards. But I really want a Lamar Jackson, or a running quarterback, if you will, to say, hey, I want to be paid as the MVP quarterback and as the team's top running back as well. Why not? Why won't Lamar do the same thing that Deebo's doing? Or that, of course, it didn't really work out as well as, a few years ago, is what we saw with Le'Veon Bell. But Le'Veon Bell was in the right as well. But I'll let you get the final word in before we close out this hour.
Oh, man, I just remember when this thing happened with Marshall Faulk. Marshall Faulk is like the running back that I grew up with, and he went for 1,000 rushing and 1,000-yard receiving. But, you know, my brother's older than me and my uncle's older than me. So they reminded me like, well, Roger Craig did that. And when Roger Craig did that, it was he was the first one to ever do it. So like the seeds have been planted back in the 80s where Roger Craig came to fruition with a guy like Marshall Faulk. And now it's just like, it's not even a wide receiver or a running back. You're an OW. You're an offensive weapon. We're going to use you all over the field. And like we talked about last week, the things that guys do in college, basically playing all over the field, it's the things that get you drafted into the NFL because you can do so many things. You're a jack of all trades and everything like that. But in the NFL, they still want to pigeonhole you and play you at one position. It's even remember when Jimmy Graham was out here putting up wide receiver numbers, but they tried to pay him as a tight end. And it's like, well, I'm flexed out as a wide receiver more than I play tight end. So I need to be paid wide receiver money. So it's just a back and forth. It's like we talk about all the time. It's negotiation.
All right. Speaking of negotiations, college athletics, some come, some go. And we've seen a couple transfers out of Ohio State basketball, but they've been able to acquire a few transfers themselves. They got Tanner Holden, top player from Wright State, of course. And Ohio State just got another huge commit from another transfer that here in the Dayton area we would be very familiar with, who played at Sinclair. We'll talk about another big name the Buckeyes got on the other side. But Michi Johnson just announced where he ended up. He headed to the SEC. I'll tell you where he is going to be spending his 2022 season. And I say 2022 season because who knows where he'll play in 2023. I'm joking. We'll be back.
Starting a garden. It's kind of like starting a family. You care for it, watch it grow, and if you get the right brand, like Bonnie Plants Harvest Select, you watch it grow a lot. You start to feel a real bond with your plant family. Just don't name them because they're going to be delicious. Get help donating your surplus to local food banks from the Home Depot and ampleharvest.org. It feels like spring at the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
Let's plan on having concessions over there.
Mike is remodeling the old family drive-in movie theater.
Go find Gavin. Tell him the sound team is here.
He'll need a new front-of-house cast and behind-the-scenes crew.
Hey, can we talk staffing real quick? I'm thinking at least 6 per shift.
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Our hiring platform instantly connects you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
4G, 5G, what about 3D? That's right, don't just upgrade your phone, upgrade your vision at iWorks Laser and Vision Center with Dr. Patrick Spencer with $1,000 off. Choose all laser LASIK or upgrade your cataract surgery with a premium lens. Read your text, drive confidently at night, all without glasses. Visit iWorksLVC.com or call 937-226-7870. That's 937-226-7870. Because at iWorks, it's all about seeing your best.
Fricker's everyday values are even better. Earn double points on everyday value purchases for a limited time. Download the Fricker's app and watch your points double on everyday value menu selections. Monday, boneless frickin' chicken wings. Tuesday, traditional frickin' chicken wings. Wednesday, steak dinner. Thursday, frickin' chicken chunks.
Double the points, double the savings, double the value.
Make your money go further Monday through Thursday with everyday values when you dine in and download the Fricker's app. The home for fun, food, sports, and spirits. Fricker's.
Now at Menards, save big money on your next project with 11% off everything. Novik stacked stone siding panels replicate the natural hand-laid look of stacked stone masonry at a fraction of the cost. And they're easy to install. Start your next project today and get 11% off. Novik stacked stone siding panels. Good through April 30th. Savings are a mail-in rebate. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Save big money at Menards.
Listen to this station anytime, anywhere on Odyssey. Odyssey is your new audio home for all the music, news, sports, and podcasts that matter to you. Odyssey. That's AUDACY.
There's never any FOMO with the iHeartRadio app. You won't ever have to miss out on your favorite shows and contests with this radio station again. Radio 24/7, 365. We're here when you want us. Stay connected and listen anywhere when you download the free iHeartRadio app.
Staples stores are a new world of possible with innovative tools for small business and remote workers and learners. Explore more at your local Staples store or staplesconnect.com.
Weather brought to you by Call It Power Washing. Introducing Call It Power Washing. Old man winter tough on your home? Call It for all your spring cleanup needs.
Perfect air with a personal touch. Get up to $1,000 in rebates on a new Linux system or make no payments for 6 months when you finance a new Linux system for as little as $132 a month. Call William Brockman and Sons Heating and Air Conditioning at 937-222-8638 today to learn more or visit online at DaytonHeatingandCooling.com. Conditions apply. See dealer for details. License number Ohio license number 14911.
Is your child eager to learn but overly active, easily distracted, and falling through the cracks in the classroom? Summit Academy is the perfect learning environment for students that need the extra push. Their teachers embrace the academic, social, and emotional success of kids who learn differently. They're a nonprofit, tuition-free public school in Dayton, Columbus, Middletown, and Xenia. They educate all students but specialize in autism and ADHD. For more information, visit summitacademies.org or call 1-844-549-8496.
All right, and we are back. I'm Justin Kinner. He's Kev Nash. We're trying to open up these phone lines for everyone, but having a little issue with the little display on the screen. So as soon as we get that addressed, but continue trying to call in. We see that calls are coming in. We just haven't been successful in being able to find a way to get them to come through. This damn phone has been an issue for a while now, so our apologies. But you still got us. I don't know if that makes it any better, but nonetheless, we're still live on Facebook and Twitter, YouTube, so come hang out. If you want to be a part of the show, your comments, opinions, thoughts, always welcome. Michi Johnson, former Ohio State Buckeyes, announced that he is committed to play at South Carolina. Look, I thought... like I said, I always poke fun at some of the players right now who they'll go on and they'll do these sad, emotional, not really sad, but they'll do these emotional farewells. Usually when a player transfers out, it's because of an issue with the coach or playing time or something. I'm not saying that's not the case here, but it's just the way that the farewell messages are always written. Man, playing for the Buckeyes was a dream come true. I love Coach Holtman. I love my teammates. I love my time at Ohio State, but I'm getting the hell out of here. Like, it's just like, well, man, I would hate to see if you loved it that much. I just don't understand. Like, and again, I think I know why. I mean, it's just money. I get it, but like,
I don't think it's money. I think you can get a lot more money playing at Ohio State than South Carolina. Like, South Carolina is known for football and women's basketball. Like, when's the last time South Carolina was good? That time with Frank Martin was the coach. They went to the Final Four.
He's at UMass now.
Yeah. So I think it's more about playing time and opportunities to get on the floor. That Ohio State team, I mean, this year was loaded with guys and everything like that. And now a ton of transfers are coming in, And
maybe Michi just ain't that damn good, because the bottom line is you're going to let a kid from the Horizon League come in and take minutes from you. You're going to let a kid that basically had his best years at Sinclair come in and take minutes from you, who couldn't cut it at West Virginia. And Sean McNeil, good kid, but I'm just saying, like, what are you bolting for playing time for? If you look at those coming in and say, back of the line, it's my turn, it's my time. No, I don't know. But with that being said, obviously, Sean McNeil played at Sinclair.
I think Michi won't be coming on the show anytime soon.
I never even had him on my hoping to talk to him list, but maybe, maybe. There's not a whole long list of. I think there's a longer list of guys I've said F Kinner, I ain't never going on that show, so that's fine. We could put him at the top of the list, but but he'll probably say, man, I love Kinner's show. He's a great guy. I listen every day. There's not a show I'd love to be on more, but I'm not going on that show. That's the way these kids operate these days.
What would you prefer them say then?
Nothing. Stop being so damn attention seeking. Like, even like, this ain't a kid that y'all care about too much, but it's Antoine Davis, who played at Detroit. He put out here's my Final Four. BYU is a part of my Final Four too. They're just not on the graphic. I don't care who your Final Four is. Just tell me who the hell you're going to play for and move on. Like, why do we do this song and dance all the time? The attention-seeking bull blank is just annoying as hell to me. And I work in a business that it is very look at me, but go play. Let your game do the talking. What is wrong with these kids? I just don't get it. I can't relate. I don't get it. Maybe it's because of jealousy, because I was just short and fat and had no offers. Maybe I would be doing all right, this Thursday, Kinner's going to announce his top 75 schools, who will be the lucky school. I'm just saying. Just tell me who your Final One is. I don't need to know who your Final Four is. I'm just saying.
You sound 64. Not
get off my lawn.
Not 31.
That's yeah.
I mean, I get what you're saying.
And I'm being a little aggressive I'm being fun, but like, it's not that big a deal. I do get a kick out of it. I'm like, why do they do that? It is, and it's a great thing that you want the world to know. Back when we were younger, we didn't have the social media platforms. The only way we knew that if a kid was being recruited is if you actually physically went to the website itself to type in, I wonder what offers he has.
Mm-hmm.
These kids aren't the problem. The kids from our generation would have done the same thing if these platforms existed. There's nothing wrong with these kids. I'm just kind of, being me as usual. But the bottom line, they're doing nothing wrong, but I just get a kick out of it. The way the human, our human brains operate is look at me, look at me, look at me. And man, I'm down to my Final Four. That's super. That's like doing a fill in the, multiple choice exam. Well, I know it's either A, B, C, or D. And you're just thinking out loud, like the teacher's, I don't care. Just tell me which one you circled in so we can move on with class. That's where I'm at. I don't care what your Final Four is. I don't need to know the 3 schools that you dumped. I don't need to know the 3 schools that you led along. Just tell me which one you're going to.
Well, I get what you're saying, and I can't say I totally disagree, but the thing, where was it? Probably, I guess it was 10 years ago now when the whole hat dance started on recruitment day. And then, it went from, I'm picking up this hat to picking up this hat. And then it kind of got kind of disrespectful. Then they start throwing the other opposing school hat in the trash and putting on this hat. Or then they're bringing puppies to it, or they're bringing, blimps and everything like that. It becomes a show. And this is just morphed into something else. But I know that a lot of the schools get involved in these announcements as well. Not just the school that they're going to, but the school that they're leaving and everything like that, because they, as a school, want to present a good image and okay, things didn't work out for you here. We're going to help you exit interview and put out a statement and everything like that. Because, in this day and age of recruitment, not only you're recruiting the guys that are on your team, but you're recruiting other guys out there to come to your school. So you, as a school, want to be looked at in a good light. They say, hey, man, we didn't kick Michi to the curb. We still love Michi. We helping Michi out. It's that presentation type of thing. And also about, people and players controlling what gets out to the media and everything like that. And instead of any speculation, you're hearing it straight from me in this statement.
The statement is, I picked this school. So imagine coming out of college and I'm looking to work for 700 WLW, the big one, 97.1 The Fan in Columbus, or 1410 Wing AM. And
the great 1410 Wing AM.
I find out on Thursday, you'll find out which sports radio station I pick. I don't know. It could be 700. It could be, it's probably not 700. They'll probably never welcome me there again. Ever. I will probably, as much as I crap on the Bengals, I will probably, I prop up the Reds. All right. But the Bengals thing, I think I'll probably be barred from Cincinnati ever. But the point is imagine if we did that in our careers. And, forget radio, just anything. Oh, man, in high school, I don't know. I have Taco Bell, Wendy's, and McDonald's. Tough choice. Play the hat game. Which one am I going to work at? It's we don't care. Just tell us where you're working at. If we even care where you're working at, but just tell us where you're working at. Why does it have to? Imagine on LinkedIn. Imagine if LinkedIn allowed us to have all right, give us your three areas of 3 companies you're looking to work at. They don't care which company you're looking at. Which company are you working at? That's all I care. Which companies have you worked at? Which company are you currently working at? Not which companies you turned down to get here. That's all. Well, sports is about life lessons, right? Name one aspect after sports that a lesson of, announcing to the world what options you have. And with women, by the way, maybe do your thing, but I'm just saying, I don't think that's going to work out very well. I'm getting married here in 3 weeks. What if I had 2 other women on the side and I put out on Twitter, I'm supposed to get married in 3 weeks. However, I have a tough choice to make between Nora and girl A and girl B over here. I got to decide, but I'll let you know on Thursday who the lucky winner of the Kinder sweepstakes is going to be. No, life doesn't work that way. So why does it work here? Again, it's really not that big a deal. I would have probably done it if I was an elite athlete and was lucky enough and fortunate enough to be able to do what they're doing. But yeah,
I don't think it's any different.
Like me, we just can't relate because we weren't good enough to do it. We're just jealous. That's all.
I just don't think it's any different from how people use Facebook, like status updates. Like, hey, I'm at so-and-so restaurant. They take a selfie with whoever they're there with and their meal and everything like that. Or people taking a picture of themselves at the golf course and saying, this is what's going on with me today. I think
let them know what golf course I'm at. And I'll say, man, I was going to go to this golf course, but then I changed my mind. And then I was stuck between these two golf courses. And then I picked this one. No, I just say, hey, I'm at this golf course. But I see what yes, in this day and age with Facebook, it's, look at me. We're at the Journey concert last night. I had to let everyone know we're at the Journey concert.
Yeah, because it didn't happen unless it's on Facebook.
Exactly. But I also, didn't say the 3 other options I could have had with my night. I just said, this is where I'm at. So high school kids out there, I know y'all hate me anyways. That's fine. I don't care what 55. If I cared about which schools you were looking at, I'd go look up your profile. That's all I need to know. I don't need you to say, I'm going to pick between what, and then some will put the list of their top 10. Their top 10. You don't have it down to your top 10. You're only putting your top 10 so you could show off of the other schools that are looking at you, which is okay too. But I'm still going to poke fun at it. That's all.
Get off my lawn.
This episode of Get Off My Lawn has been presented by you. Lawn feed.
Fill in the blank.
Yeah.
We used to have Hate the Bengals hour, but now it's Hate the Kids hour.
Well, it's only April. It's going to be May. I'm saving the I Hate the Bengals show for, Charlie and those guys come the fall. So there you go. How about this? The Patriots have dealt their 5th round pick to the Texans for their 6th and 7th round picks per sources. Huge if true. Big news broken by Adam Schefter.
I don't know. It might be the next Tom Brady they draft.
Things are heating up. Matt Miller says nothing like a meaningless trade of day 3 picks 3 days before the draft to throw off a 7-round mock draft.
True.
All right, folks, it's the Justin Kinder Show with Kev Nash right here on 1410 Wing AM, presented by Brad Mays with Home Experts Realty. So remember when Phil Castellini released the apology statement that was like 2 sentences and it just looked really funny? Like it was like, man, it was just a waste of time to even use Red's letterhead. A more sincere apology has since been released, maybe not to the fans themselves, but are included in this. I'm here to tell you, I don't know where I'm at. If you ask me on a scale of 1 to 10, how much do I believe him on this? I'm leaning more towards the 7. And I'll tell you what the apology is on the other side. I do think that this is the Reds fans. You've done a good job of letting them have it. You did a good job of showing up over the weekend, supporting the team, all while letting the Castellinis know that you're not pleased with their efforts. We'll talk about that next.
Frickers Everyday Values are even better.
Even better.
Earn double points on everyday value purchases for a limited time. Download the Frickers app and watch your points double on everyday value menu selections. Monday, boneless frickin' chicken wings. Tuesday, traditional frickin' chicken wings. Wednesday, steak dinner. Thursday, frickin' chicken chunks.
Double the points, double the savings, double the value.
Make your money go further Monday through Thursday with everyday values when you dine in and download the Frickers app. The home for fun, food, sports, and spirits. Frickers.
Your happiest spring starts with Lowe's because SpringFest is happening now. Start gathering and grilling with friends and family for less with $50 off the Charbroil Performance Series 5-burner gas grill, now $249. And then get everyone together around our 7-piece dining sets starting at just $768. Stop by Lowe's today and create a season full of togetherness and sizzle. Lowe's, home to any budget, home to any possibility. Selection varies by location while supplies last, valid 4/21 through 4/27.
We're planning a trip to Spain later this year.
But our Spanish
is pretty bad. So we're using Babbel.
Babbel's conversation-based method teaches you real-life words and phrases. And with Babbel's interactive, bite-sized lessons, you'll remember what you learned.
There's no easier way to learn another language.
Ahora hablamos español.
He just said, now we speak Spanish.
Babbel, language for life. Now try Babbel for free. Just go to Babbel.com. That's Babbel.com.
Everyone loves shopping online. Well, I'm going to tell you what I tell my golf buddies when they buy clubs. Stop searching for coupon codes. Download Capital One Shopping to your computer. Capital One Shopping instantly searches for available coupon codes and automatically applies them at checkout. Plus, it's free, and you don't even need a Capital One card to use it. That's like hitting a hole in one without even trying. Capital One Shopping. It's kind of genius. What's in your wallet?
Savings and available coupons vary. Ray Magliozzi here for eBay Motors. Okay, easy now. You're teaching your kid how to parallel park. Ouch! Turns out he likes to do it by feel. Don't worry, eBay Motors has bumpers, taillights, trunk lids, license plate holders, 122 million parts. Pull up just a little bit. And headlights. They've got lots of headlights. Get the right parts at the right prices. eBay Motors. Let's ride.
Springtime means Mother's Day and unbeatable prices on made-for-mom gifts. Like ladies' Lincoln Outfitters Bermuda shorts, starting at $15.99 a pair. Or assorted 10-inch premium hanging flower baskets, just $14.99 each. Or save $10 on our replica whiskey barrel planters, now only $9.99. Get them at RuralKing.com or your neighborhood Rural King, America's farm and home store.
If you work remote, Staples has you covered.
A mid-mod desk chair to rejuvenate my ho-hum workspace.
Staples has you covered. A gaming chair for a serious competitor.
A super stylish desk that will save me space and money.
Staples has you covered with remote workspace products and design tips curated by Jasmine Roth and Staples Work From Home Style Squad. Now save up to $100 on select chairs. Explore solutions for your remote workspace at Staples, the working and learning store. Ends 4/30. Limit 2 in-store only.
Cordell Transportation is now hiring Class A CDL drivers. $5,000 sign-on bonus. That's right, $5,000 sign-on bonus. Home daily dedicated lanes, no touch freight. Apply today at CordellTransportation.com. Cordell Transportation, driven to succeed.
Do you know what people see when they Google you? Search engines don't always get it right. And when they're wrong, it's your reputation on the line. So what do you do when you don't agree with your search results? Call Reputation Defender at 800-401-6681. Reputation Defender is one of the most trusted names in online reputation repair. We have over a decade of experience in fixing people's search results, and we can help you too. Using cutting-edge approaches, Reputation Defender pushes unflattering information down to lower pages of your search results, where few people ever look. We also promote the good stuff so that it rises to the top, letting you put your best foot forward. Your good name is too valuable to leave to the whims of a Google algorithm. You owe it to yourself to take control with Reputation Defender. Visit www.reputationdefender.com or call 800-401-6681 for free advice on your situation. That's 800-401-6681.
On Twitter, make sure to give us a follow. Search 1410 Kinner for Justin Kinner on Twitter. That's 1410 KINNER. And ESPN Dayton for the station Twitter handle.
The Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Brad Mays with Home Experts Realty, talking a lot of NFL draft as the draft is officially here coming up this Thursday. A little bit, it's weird talking about the draft at this point, mainly because of the fact that the Browns don't have a first-round pick, and the Bengals have the number 31 pick, thanks to them actually hanging out with the cool kids this past year, hanging out in the Super Bowl. So their draft pick, a little bit of a boring one all the way at the back end, and that's a good place to be. Maybe not a good place to be on Thursday, but it's a good place to be as a result of all the good work and hard work that was put into the previous season. But nonetheless, still excited again 10 coming up. It's amazing because in every other sport that seems so regional, the NFL is the only one that I could tell you just as much about teams I don't follow as about the teams I do follow. It's not the case as much in the NBA. It's not the case in Major League Baseball. And that's what I find most fascinating about the NFL. College is that way to a certain extent. At least it is for the major players in the college football playoff scene. But then you have those, brainiacs out there that could tell you the number of the backup tight end or the third string tight end on every team in the every conference out there. Maybe that's you, Kev. I'm not really sure, but good for them. But we welcome you back again. It's the Justin Kidder Show with Kev Nash, presented by Brad Mays with Home Experts Realty. Last Friday, we talked about the fact that Hunter Green had come out with the tweet pleading with Reds fans to please show up and please support the team, that it's it's a long season ahead, and that you Reds fans, your support means more than you'll ever know. And all I see on social media is, I hate the Castellinis, screw the Castellinis, I am not going to support them no more. But you forget that by not supporting them, you're not supporting the guys that you're actually fans of, which is the Hunter Greens and Nick Lodolos of the world. Nick Lodolo killed it, by the way. Hunter Green didn't have a great start on Friday. It did extend the losing streak for the Reds. He did not look great. I think he was, average about 94, 95 on the fastball, which sounds good 15 years ago, but he was off by like 5 or 6 miles per hour from what he was hitting on his first 2 starts. So they're going to kind of give him a rest day in between starts coming up, which makes sense. But I thought that tweet was powerful because it was a player, a fan favorite, pleading with fans, continue to support us. We need you. And I've said this a cajillion times. I've never gone to a game because of an owner, so I'm not going to not go to a game because of an owner. And I'm here to tell you now, you've never gone to a game because of an owner, so why are you going to stop going to games because of an owner? Here's an excuse for not going to a game I can get down with. The team sucks. Okay, I can get down with that. You're not going to waste good time, good money on a bad team. That I could support, but don't use lame excuses like I refuse to support Bob Castellini. Yeah, because your $30 ticket that you bought is really helping them eat well. Like, come on, like let's stop. Like, they're billionaires. Like, you're not really helping them. Yeah, I promise you're not. It's like your vote every 4 years. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. My bad. But you're not really helping them. Your $30 ticket is not all of a sudden, oh man, Bob's like, oh man, I was worried how I was going to pay the cell phone bill this week, but that idiot in Dayton continues to support us. So I guess we're going to get the new iPhone this month, Philly. I mean, come on. No. So I don't know. That's just how I view it. But I thought it was cool of Hunter Green to kind of put that out there. 20,000 fans showed up. That's not a great number, but that's a great number, all things considered, because I'm continuing to watch the A's attendance, Kev. They've had like 3 or 4 games of 2,000 to 3,000 fans in attendance. That's bad. Mm-hmm. That's bad. The Reds, as big of a game as Reds fans talk, you guys still show up, and I'm not mocking you. I think that you could still go and support. I said this last week. I don't know what the right answer is as far as how to go about protesting the owners, but I do know the wrong answer is not showing up, because you don't show up, attendance goes down. Now the city is like, I don't know how we support anything that the Reds ask of us as a city to do if fans aren't even showing up. It seems like a lost cause. So it's just a whirlwind effect that you're going to have, that if you think you're making a stand, well, again, all you're doing is pushing the team out. So I thought that was cool to still see the fans show up over the weekend and support this team. Fans were wearing bags over their head. That's how you do it. Embarrass the Castellinis. There was like a blimp that flew over the ballpark, Kev, said, sell the team, Bob. Fans had the paper bags over their head, sell the team, Bob. I guess some attendants came and said that they couldn't have those on there, which I'll get to that in a moment, because I kind of want to go to a game and wear one and see if they'll tell me to take it off. I think that'd be pretty damn funny. It's kind of a challenge at this point. I'm really thinking about it, to be honest with you. That's what you do. You make the Castellinis uncomfortable. Make it to where their ballpark, the team that they own, if they're in hiding and they're not out walking amongst the fans, that's how you protest. You make them uncomfortable. You show up, and then when they show up, and by the way, I'm not trying to incite a riot here. I'm just saying, but like the pressure of not wanting to face the fans, not wanting to look the fans in the eyes because you fans have had enough and you're continuing to hold them accountable with the trash bags over your head, the social media movements, in the post game, Kev, where they kind of all the fans kind of gather around, sell the team. Bob broke out in a chant afterwards. It's little things like that that you could still support the Jonathan Indias, the Hunter Greens, and the Nick Lodolos of the world, all while letting the Castellinis know you're not happy. And I think that that's kind of a start to it. But Phil Castellini, Kev, came out. Red COO Phil Castellini sent an apology letter to workers for saying where are they going to go. Okay, this comes from John Heyman. John Heyman tweeted this out. So Phil Castellini sent an apology letter to workers for saying where are they going to go to fans after the fire sale. In the letter, Kev, it says, my remarks were flat wrong and in no way reflect just how committed I am to the Reds and the city of Cincinnati. I let my frustration get the best of me. This is what should have been on that original release. In fact, that release should have never come out, because no matter what in the heat of an argument, you could apologize right after the heat of an argument. It's not gonna diffuse the situation. Sometimes time can diffuse a situation, and I think that this has allowed him to reflect a little bit. I think he saw that, oh man, this wasn't me, thinking that this would blow over. Like, these fans are serious. I got to reevaluate what we're doing, and I think that's what has happened. Reds fans, you have spoken, and they have heard. I think this was a legitimate apology. I do think he sees the error in his ways. Is that going to help this year? No. Is that going to all of a sudden make the roster better and they start turning it around and competing for the division? No. But I just, based on these words and the phrasing, Kev, maybe I'm being gullible here, but I kind of believe him. I believe that he truly regrets what he said. Maybe he still believes what he said, but I truly believe that he regrets what he said now, because he's basically coming out and saying, my remarks were flat out wrong and in no way reflect how committed I am to the Reds in the city of Cincinnati. I let my frustration get the best of me. I said this last week. You cannot tell me that they don't want to win. You can't. They may not be great owners. They may not be good at their job. I just don't think that you could tell them that they don't want to win. I think they want to win. I just don't think that they're willing to do everything necessary to do it. Does that make sense? And I think that's kind of where we're at right now. I don't want any of you feeling sorry for the Castellinis. I'm not asking you to do that. I'm just saying, based on what I'm reading and hearing from people in Cincinnati closer to the situation, he knows he's screwed up. Yeah. And he feels guilty. And it's not just because he's getting backlash. And I hate when people say, well, he's just guilty because he's getting backlash. Yeah, that's how it works. Sometimes you don't know. I mean, sometimes you have to get a reaction to find out what your actions did or caused. Like, sometimes it's a learning thing. Now, I'm not saying that he won't trade the next big prospect that comes his way. I'm just saying he may not say something as stupid that makes fans feel like they're being taken for granted. I believe that he's sorry. I believe that he kind of had an eye-opening experience, but I thought those comments were interesting, if you will.
The bags, the shirts, the tweets, the chants, like all that stuff adds up after a while. And like you said, he could have been oblivious to it. He may have thought like, oh yeah, some fans are upset, but when you're constantly getting updated about the team's record since you said those things, and now I guess it's like 1-9 since that happened or whatever, like, you're inundated. And let's believe, like, the people that work with the Reds, that have a Twitter team, and he's not on Twitter checking it. He's not updating the Reds Twitter, but the people that do is getting back to him and like, hey man, this is getting worse the day by day. And if he's at the ballpark, if he's watching the game, they're showing the fans and they're showing the attendants, asking fans to take bags off their heads and everything like that. He feels that pressure. He feels that heat. He feels that embarrassment, and, sees the error of his ways. Now, I can't tell a Reds fan if they should accept his apology or anything like that. I mean, that's on a one-on-one basis and everything like that. But, as of right now, he said what he said. Now he's officially come with a real apology, and you can either accept it or not. But that's not, whatever he does, it's not going to stop you from being a Reds fan. It's not. You know what I'm saying? He could have never said anything about it again. Could have let that, 2-sentence statement that he released on the day that he said it stand forever. You still were going to be a Reds fan. And now that he's apologized and it seems more sincere, guess what? Still a Reds fan. You still want the team to win. You still going to watch when they come on. You still going to go if you got some tickets and everything like that. It's not going to stop you from being a fan. So, these are things that ownership has to deal with. And when you make bonehead comments like that, you feel the wrath of the fan and show the fans show that they have some skin in the game and they have a lot of muscle to flex.
518-1410 NFL draft. This apology from Red COO Phil Castellini regarding his home opening day comments. Where are you going to go? Basically, just really making fans feel like the organization's taking their support for granted. And you got to be careful with that because yes, fans want to make a stand and not show up to show their frustration, but by not showing up, you're playing a role in pushing the team out of Cincinnati, which, by the way, when I say that, I'm not saying that would have happened in a year, but I'm saying if that's the trend that's moving forward, that would be a problem. But, fans don't show up to bad teams all the time. So they play a role in this, but I'm just saying if the Reds ownership is looking to move and they're just looking for that way out, like the A's, sometimes I think that they're doing this on purpose, pissing the fans off so they don't get the fan support so they can, justify moving them out of town. Who knows what's going on there? But Kev, who we have on hold?
Oh,
I think it's Chris.
Chris, there you go.
Thanks for holding, man. How are you? You talking draft, baseball? What's on your mind?
Well, I do like what you said in the previous segment, which I wanted to touch on that in a second.
Oh, yeah, anything that's on your mind, man.
Well, the Castellini thing, I agree with you. I worked for a large retailer, and I would always have the people come in and saying, oh my gosh, if you don't do this, I'm never going to shop here again. And 2 days later, they're in there shopping again. So that's kind of smoke and mirror, in my opinion.
Well, it's like how many people tell me, that's it. You talked bad about my team. I'm never listening to this show again. And then the next week, now they're still telling me how much they hate me, but they're listening. Well, so that's all that matters, right?
and working in customer service and just in the public eye, that there are people that just want to complain.
Yep.
That's all they're about. And Castellini and the Reds, no, it's not going to change you for it, but the only way to actually get him to change or to get any kind of owner to change is to affect their image and their brand. And once you do that, then you'll see change happen. Aside from that, nothing's ever going to come of it. But that, as you were talking about everybody putting up the top 4 schools and things like that, if we're going to go that far, why can't we have one on the news network where it says that Kettering Health Network's getting the top recruit from Yale Medical School and he's got a 4.0 GPA, or we're in charge. As we get older, wouldn't it be nice to know, hey man, I'm going to the hospital, it's got the #1 heart surgeon and I'm having a heart attack.
You're right.
I saw that on the news feed. You know what I mean? Wouldn't that be a better option for us to have?
Until the #1 heart surgeon has Kettering Health Network in their Final Four, then picks a different company, and then now we're like, oh great, so now I'm afraid to go have my heart worked on at Kettering.
He followed LeBron out to Cedar Sinai in LA. That's what happened, man. He chose to go there. That was what happened.
Yeah, to be fair, it's I'm complaining. I'm doing the old curmudgeon thing, but I promise you, if I was 18 or 19 and an elite athlete and I had a following on social media like these kids do, and I feel like I have these followers in the palm of my hand, I'm probably going to jerk them around for the journey as well. So here's these 4 teams. I'm like, because you know what happens? Those 4 teams, that's 4 fan bases that are telling this kid how awesome he is, and everyone loves to be told how great they're really not doing anything wrong, but I just get a kick out of it. You're really not announcing anything by saying, hey, here's my Final 4 schools. I'll let you know next week who I'm picking. You haven't announced anything technically. So,
well, I get that completely, and all for them, because they're, as much as they're trying to, from when they go to high school to college, they're building their own brand. And their own brand is what's going to make them money later on. Whether they're on a good team or a bad team and how they interact with social media and things, the world's gotten a lot smaller than what it is. So I get all that. I would have done it too. I'm not saying I didn't. I would love to have on my LinkedIn page, I'm deciding between these 3 companies, like you said. It would be great, to get the buzz out there for it. But that's not going to happen. And I'm not hating on them. I was just thinking, just to extend on what you were saying, it was funny. Why don't we do that in the medical field? Or, hey.
In our sex life. Imagine how funny that would be.
Okay. Yes, agreed with that, but I don't want to die talking about that because that might get me in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, I hear you, but
you know how that goes, because as soon as you walk in the door, so what did you say on the radio this morning? I don't think so. Who is Trisha? Who is this? Oh, Lord, no.
You know Trisha? Oh, no.
Well, everybody knows Trisha, man.
All right, we done with this one. I get married in 3 weeks. You're going to get me in trouble for a Trisha that I don't even know, so I'm just saying.
Just blame it on Chris Brown. It's okay.
There we go. Oh, the Chris Brown. That's right. I remember you.
Yeah, I'm the Chris Brown. Yeah, just blame it. Look, it's the local Chris Brown, but it's his fault. He did it.
All right, man. Hey, Chris, man, I appreciate the call, man. Take care.
No problem. Kev, you guys, Justin, have a good night, man.
Later.
518-1410, 518-1410 is the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Brad Mays with Home Experts Realty. So Randy Burtholf on YouTube, Kev, says, I'm appreciative of his apology, Reds CEO Phil Castellini, and the Reds fan base for taking a stand in spite of the team on the field. We deserve better. At least we have more class than the Yankees fans attacking players. Ooh. I definitely want to get in that in a moment. I feel like every week we are talking about some kind of, whether it's the NBA or Major League Baseball. The NBA kind of died down a bit. I think we're seeing in Major League Baseball what happened in the NBA. Remember when the NBA season started, there was brawls in the stands. Like it's almost like fans forgot how to act during the pandemic when we were locked away from sports for 2 years. I don't know what it is, but Randy, you are right. But 518-1410, we'll be back in just a moment.
Contact 811 at least 48 hours before you dig, and Ohio811.org will notify the utilities to mark underground lines near your projects. It's the smart, easy, and safe thing to do, and it's the law.
Rob's Beer Barn is stocked with the newest seasonal beers and refreshments. That means Rob's Beer Barn has you covered for all your needs, including while you're enjoying all Reds baseball games this month. At Rob's, you can find all the ice-cold refreshments you'll need. Craft, imported, local, and seasonal beers, fine wines, snacks, and ice. Plus, Rob's has apparel. For last-minute items, you can call, walk in, or drive through. Stop in and stock up today. Rob's Beer Barn on Indian Ripple Road at Darst, just a mile east of the Green. Rob's Beer Barn, just look for the Beaver.
The Meyer Distribution Center in Tip City is hiring for warehouse positions in all units. Includes flexible schedules, best-in-class benefits, starting wages up to $18.60, and $2,000 sign-on bonus. Candidates can apply online at jobs.meyer.com. Keyword search distribution. Location Tip City, or call 937-669-9155. 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. Monday through Friday. Walk-in interviews are available with on-the-spot job offers. Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. Call 937-669-9155. Meyer is an equal opportunity employer.
Ready to make your family meal famous? Just stop by Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken for the 16-piece family meal at a great price. You'll get 16 pieces of our classic Famous Recipe Chicken that's fresh, never frozen. It's honey-dipped, hand-breaded, and pressure-cooked to perfection, along with 4 of our large sides and 8 fluffy biscuits. This is the family meal upgraded. Get the meal with the most when you try our 16-piece family meal at a great price. Only at Lee's. Famous for chicken.
Do you have joint pain in your knees or hips or shoulder or back? Pro football legend Emmitt Smith knows how disruptive it is.
How can you focus? How can you be at your optimal best when your body's under attack by pain?
That's why Emmitt's such a proponent of QC Kinetics. QC Kinetics is here with regenerative options using natural biologics, non-surgical alternatives that offer lasting relief for pain in your knees, hips, lower back, and shoulders.
This natural biological treatment gives them the chance to get back in the game and to have a normal life.
QC Kinetics treatments laser focus on areas of intense pain, allowing your body to heal itself with no drugs, so you can focus on normal life.
Walking up the stairs without pain, getting on your bicycle without pain, running again, playing with the kids.
Your consultation is absolutely free.
Call QC Kinetics, 937-936-0325. That's 937-936-0325. QC Kinetics, 937-936-0325.
Our freedom depends on secure and honest elections. But the radical left wants to put our elections at risk. They're working overtime to weaken voter ID requirements, legalize ballot harvesting, and even allowing non-citizens to vote. And liberal politicians in Washington are trying to take over our elections, removing Ohio's own local election officials so they can put unelected federal bureaucrats in charge. But Frank LaRose is fighting back. A battle-tested combat veteran, Frank LaRose is leading the charge against these radical election takeovers, protecting fair elections. As Ohio's Secretary of State, Frank LaRose fights election fraud, removing deceased voters from the rolls, demanding that every ballot have a hard copy paper trail, and ordering bipartisan audits after every election. As an Army Green Beret, LaRose protected our freedoms around the world, and now he's protecting our elections here at home. Frank LaRose for Ohio's Secretary of State.
Paid for by LaRose for Ohio.
Hello, Discover here to explain our cash back match. Here's how it works. We give you cash back for using your Discover card on the things you were going to buy anyway. Then we match that cash back in your first year. And that's why we call it Cashback Match. Now to recap and say cashback one more time. We match all the cashback you've earned at the end of your first year automatically. Discover. Exceptionally common sense. Learn more at discover.com/match. Limitations apply.
Hi, this is Alpha Media's Senior VP and GM, Brett Bayshore. I'm sure you would agree blue diamonds and four-leaf clovers are hard to come by. Well, so is this rare opening for a digital sales specialist. We're expanding our digital team, and we're looking for a dynamic problem solver. If you have a passion for targeted display, SEO, SEM, social to mobile, or OTT, call me at 937-519-0111. That's 937-519-0111. Alpha Media is an equal opportunity employer.
Whether you're at home, at work, or in your car, tune in to ESPN 1410 Wing AM or stream us live at wingam.com.
All right, we welcome you back. I'm Justin Kinner. He's Kev Nash, hanging out with you here on a Monday, a feel-good Monday at that. Every Monday we, of course, start out the show telling you what we feel good about coming out of the weekend. We'll do that again to reset things here coming up at the top of the five. So time out Phil Castellini, the COO of the Reds. His latest apology goes as this. This was to the workers, for the Reds. Reds COO, according to John Heyman's tweet, Phil Castellini sent an apology letter to workers for saying where they're going to go. And the apology would go on to say, that my remarks were flat out wrong and in no way reflect just how committed I am to the Reds in the city of Cincinnati. He says, I let my frustration get the best of me. I have no problem with that. I think that if this was the actual answer, the response from earlier in the season, I'm not saying that fans would have been smiling and had bags on their head with smiley faces instead of frowny faces. But I think that this would have blown over a lot quicker. The thing is it hasn't blown over at all. And I think that what they were hoping is, look, I could be an arrogant jerk because this is one of only 2 games at Great American Ballpark. And then these fools are about to head to the West Coast for a couple weeks. And then by the time they come home, they'll forget about it. Well, guess what? Over the weekend, there were fans who had bags over their head that you had, some of the, employees for the Reds come down and say that they had to take it off or they'd be escorted out. And it just became a thing. It was like James Dolan owning the Reds all of a sudden. He just escorting people out of MSG. It's just one of these things where it hasn't blown over. And I don't think there's any, sign in sight. The thing is, Phil Castellini, the problem is that him and Bob are not the only ones having to answer for this. We had a caller last week that was calling the front office of the Reds and just yelling at anybody that picked up the phone. Okay, that's what I found strange about all this, is that it was just one of those situations where it was someone that was calling in to just basically complain about the ownership. And I'm just like, I don't know how at the end of the day you could get down that way. Like, this is why I feel like the Castellini set out that apology. Is because everyone's getting. I'm sure the concession stand people are getting yelled at because of what the product on the field, as if they had any role in what moves were made. So I just got a kick out of that as far as that's concerned. But here's an update, by the way, on Jesse Winker. For those of you who are mad, man, the Reds, if they had Jesse Winker, things would be a lot different. Jesse Winker this season with the Mariners has not been very good. Just put it that way. He's played in 16 games. He's had 52 at-bats. He's had 8 hits. He's hitting 136. Or he's hitting 154, 136 on the road. Jesse Winker has not hit a home run yet this season. He has 6 RBIs and 9 strikeouts. Now, this Jesse Winker is kind of closer to the Jesse Winker as fine. Like, Jesse Winker's always been a streaky player. He was a streaky player with the Reds his entire career. He had a breakout year last year, but I'm not justifying what the Reds did moving on from him. But if you remember, he did hit under 200 the final 90 days of the season last year. Like, Jesse Winker wasn't playing great baseball to close out the season. Jesse Winker had one of the hottest. I mean, him and Nick Castellanos were just tearing it up to start the season. Coming out of the All-Star break, both cooled off significantly. Okay. I'm not saying it was okay to move on from Jesse Winker, but at the same time, maybe, just maybe, the scouts for the Reds might know what they could do. Maybe the evaluators might know what they could do. I don't know. I'm not expecting Jesse Winker to go the rest of the season hitting 156, but it's not as if it would be a little bit more painful if the Reds had only won 3 games 3 weeks into the season and Jesse Winker was hitting 296 with like 5 home runs and maybe like 12, 13 RBIs. You know what I mean? It was just dominant. He's not dominating in Seattle. Right, Seattle's in first place. I think they're like 10-6. They're doing their thing, but he's not really playing a role in that. Here's the kicker. Eugenio Suarez has figured it out for whatever reason. Eugenio Suarez, he has 3 home runs. Eugenio Suarez has 10 RBIs. Eugenio Suarez has 14 hits. He scored 10 runs, and he's hitting 255. Eugenio Suarez is the guy that many have said the only way the Reds could have moved on from Suarez is if they would have included him in the Winker deal. And that's one of the motivating factors that sent him, of course, to Seattle. So I get a huge kick out of that Eugenio Suarez was the throw-in piece, and he might be the anchor that justifies the move for Seattle when it's all said and done. Suarez is playing in the first 3 weeks of the season the way that Reds fans had anticipated him playing for the Reds for the last 2 years. Maybe a change of scenery did him good. Maybe a change of scenery did the opposite for Jesse Winker. But the point is, I'm not going to say that the move was justified because Jesse Winker has had a troublesome 3 weeks. But let's, what happens if Winker's hitting low 200s, minimal home runs, minimal RBIs, and is just an average baseball player the first half of the season? Are you going to retract some of that? I mean, I might. I was more pissed about the Jesse Winker deal than anything else. I was annoyed they moved on from Sonny Gray, but I kind of understood where they were heading. But the Jesse Winker deal I couldn't forgive because that was an up-and-coming player through the system that I thought was a future MVP based on how he played last year. But if this is who Jesse Winker is moving forward, I don't know. We'll see what happens. So we'll see what ends up happening as far as that's concerned. But Scott Campbell, you have your own. Mariners. Suarez was 6 for 12 this weekend, and Winker had the game-tying and game-winning RBI yesterday to complete the sweep. That's fine. We could use the talk of Jesse Winker getting the game-tying and game-winning RBI and all that. But the bottom line is he's hitting 156. He's not playing very good baseball. But baseball's a streaky sport like most, so maybe that game-winning RBI could be what wakes him up, and all of a sudden Winker ends up hitting the hell out of the ball moving forward. We'll find out. 518-1410. Anything on your mind? Let's go to Q. Q, thanks for holding, sir. How are you?
Pretty good. Hope you guys had a great weekend.
Those pipes, man. Those pipes. It's been a while. I was like, Q, I think we had a Q that used to call in, but I don't forget that voice. That is for sure.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Listen, I'm in traffic, so I'm not going to be long with my comment. So after I make my comment, I'm going to hang up and you guys think about it and comment on it. But listen, whoever the Bengals draft, what they should look into is getting at least 3 sumo wrestlers. And the reason I say that is because sumo wrestlers start out in a 4-point stance. They fire out hard and they have impeccable hand play. And I think that they would be great lineman. I'm going to hang up, man, and you guys think about it. I'm going to listen for your comment because I'm in traffic and, I don't want to get that ticket.
I'm all for you not wanting to get that ticket, man. I'd hate to cost you some money. So here's the deal. I don't know how serious you were about that, but I understand that some of the physical attributes of a sumo wrestler you think would add up to being a pretty solid offensive lineman. The good hands, the large, wide bodies. I mean, my goodness, they may not move that well, but you just kind of need them to pop up, stand there, and just run through the gaps, if you will. I don't know what to say to that. Look, I think the Bengals did a good job addressing the OL and free agency. Are they an elite offensive line? No. Are they better than the Browns O-line? Still not even close. Are they going to be effective? Yes. If the Bengals could win 10 games they won the AFC North and made it to the Super Bowl while Joe Burrow got sacked 70 times. All I got to say is, and this is the thought process of most Bengals fans, if he got to the Super Bowl getting sacked 70 times, what happens if that gets cut by 25 sacks? If that gets cut by 30 sacks? If these 3 guys can come in and save 10 sacks each, okay? I mean, that's cutting that down to 40 sacks, which isn't like a little bit, but it's nothing compared to the clip of which Joe Burrow has been hit to start in his first 2 seasons. So it's just one of those things where it's mainly about just giving Burrow a little bit more time and giving this offense a little bit more time as well. So I don't know. We had this argument a while back. Somebody called in and debated, the improvement of the offensive line. Who does it help more, Joe Mixon or Joe Burrow? From an on the field standpoint, it could definitely be Joe Mixon. I understand why you would say that, or the run game in general. But from a big picture standpoint, Joe Burrow, you got to protect him. You got to protect him. Joe Burrow played elite last year with a horrible offensive line. So a good offensive line, Joe Burrow is still going to be elite. The offensive line, fixing that's just about protecting him and keeping him upright and keeping him on the field. Joe Burrow is going to be great on the field. It's just a matter of keeping him on the field, adding the O-line. And I'm not saying that he can't get better because of those OL. He will get better because of that O-line. All I'm saying is I think it's going to have more of an impact on the run game than it is on the pass game. The biggest impact it's going to have on the pass game is keeping Joe Burrow healthy. So I hope I made sense of that. Joe Burrow will get better because of the OL, but I don't think that all of a sudden he's going to be drastically better. I don't think his numbers are going to be head and shoulders better next year than what they were last year. But the one area of numbers that you better hope that they improve on is how many times he gets touched. But I do think the run game is what could benefit the most as far as finding a balance there, if you want to find a balance. I mean, that's the thing when you have a dominant pass game. I always said, when defending Baker Mayfield, everyone said, well, look, they barely let him throw. They keep handing it off to Nick Chubb. Browns fans would argue, well, why would you let Baker throw if you have Nick Chubb? Well, I'm pretty sure that if Patrick Mahomes had Nick Chubb would get less touches before Patrick Mahomes would drop back less times. So, again, even if it helps the run game, I don't think Joe Burrow is going to drop back less. Am I right? Like, that's always the big dilemma. Like, okay, you get this offensive line, you beef it up, it's going to help the run game. It might help the run game, but I don't think it's going to take snaps away from Joe Burrow. I don't think you go to Joe Mixon more. I don't care if you have Derrick Henry. It's easy when you have Ryan Tannehill and Derrick Henry together. You give Derrick Henry the damn ball, no one's batting an eye at that, right? But if you have Patrick Mahomes and Derrick Henry playing together, now, as a head coach, you got to decide, am I going to feed the running back or feed Patrick Mahomes? Joe Burrow, you're going to feed Joe Mixon or you're going to feed Joe Burrow? Although I did say last year there was a stretch where every time Joe Burrow threw the ball more than, there was a point where the Bengals were 0-7 last year anytime Burrow threw the ball more than 30 times. And I still think that's a trend to keep an eye on. Someone I think tweeted at Mo Egger earlier today about Joe Burrow being the next Carson Wentz. I'm not going to lie. It wasn't my burner account, but I wish it was because I thought that was pretty damn funny. We saw Carson Wentz have a huge breakout year, the year that the Eagles went on to win the Super Bowl, although without him technically throughout the playoffs because of the injury with Nick Foles finishing the deal. But similar numbers between Carson Wentz and Joe Burrow that year. So I'm just saying, we'll see what happens. But Joe Burrow ain't going nowhere. He ain't going nowhere. But not the best quarterback in the AFC North, I promise you that much. He's second best. Not bad. Nothing wrong being second best. Am I right, Kev?
Yeah, Steelers were second best in the AFC North last year.
Ayo. All right. With that being said, we'll step away for a few moments. And hey, look, I even give you the voice.
Hey, we in here.
More of the Justin Kinder Show with Kev Nash next.
If you need to hire, you need Indeed. Their hiring platform lets you schedule and conduct virtual interviews all in one place. Learn more at Indeed.com/credit.
I'm getting vaccinated with Prevnar 20.
So am I, because I'm at risk for pneumococcal pneumonia.
I'm asking about Prevnar 20 because there's a chance pneumococcal pneumonia could put me in the hospital. Age 65 or older, you may be at increased risk for pneumococcal pneumonia. Ask your doctor or pharmacist about getting vaccinated with Prevnar 20, pneumococcal 20-valent conjugate vaccine, a Pfizer vaccine that can help protect against pneumococcal pneumonia in just one dose. Prevnar 20 is approved for adults to help prevent infections from 20 strains of the bacteria that cause pneumococcal pneumonia. Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you've had a severe allergic reaction to the vaccine or its ingredients. Adults with weakened immune systems may have a lower response to the vaccine. The most commonly reported side effect was pain at the injection site. For additional common side effects and full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138 or visit Prevnar20.com. I want to be able to keep my plans.
So I'm asking my doctor about getting vaccinated with Prevnar 20.
Straight Talk Wireless now has the new iPhone 13 with cinematic mode, which lets you focus on what matters. And with Straight Talk, you can focus on getting the best deal. Our Silver Unlimited plan is just $45 a month for unlimited talk, text, and data. And it runs on the largest, most dependable networks, now with nationwide 5G. With the iPhone 13 on Straight Talk, you can share whatever you want, wherever you want. Straight Talk Wireless. 5G capable device required. Actual availability, coverage, and speed may vary. See terms and conditions at straighttalk.com.
Do you or any of your family members, neighbors, or friends own a property that you just want to be done with it? If so, call TurboTrack Realty today for an all-cash offer at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000. Would it be convenient for you to take what you wanted and leave the rest behind? Great, I'll buy it. Call 614-470-2000. That's 614-470-2000.
OHMB 803342 and MLS 304138. Do you need help with a loan to purchase or refinance your home? Have you applied for a home loan and been told you do not qualify for a loan? Are you a first-time buyer and have questions regarding the home buying process? Are you considering refinancing your existing home? Do you live in Ohio, Kentucky, Indiana, Florida, or South Carolina? If you answered yes to any of the above questions, you need to call Forrest Ferris at 3rd Street Financial Home Loans at 513-320-5911, who is available 7 days a week to help you. We're 3rd Street Financial Home Loans, and Forrest Ferris specializes in approving home loans banks and other lenders cannot or will not approve. Some of our clients might have low credit scores, been through a divorce, want to buy a home for sale by owner, are in a land contract, or dealing with probate or estate homes. Call Forrest now for a free estimate. 513-320-5911. That's 513-320-5911. Offer valid for purchase or refinancing of homes located in Ohio, Kentucky, Indiana, Florida, and South Carolina only. Minimum loan amount $60,000. Limitations and restrictions apply.
Unlock your best lawn yet with the most innovative zero-turn mowers, lawn tractors, walk-behind mowers, and more at your locally owned Cub Cadet dealer, East Lawn and Garden. Like the Cub Cadet Ultima Series, zero-turn mowers that are engineered to give you next-level comfort and premium cut quality. All supported by genuine parts, accessories, and trained service technicians. You'll only find at your local dealer, so you can love to lawn for years to come. For expert advice, superior service, and exceptional offers, visit East Lawn and Garden at 1632 East US Highway 36 in Urbana today.
Driving has a rhythm all its own. Don't wreck it with a text. Before you get behind the wheel, silence your phone. Or better yet, designate a texter. For more text-free driving tips, visit stoptextstoprex.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
Cordell Transportation is now hiring Class A CDL drivers. $5,000 sign-on bonus. That's right, $5,000 sign-on bonus. Home daily dedicated lanes, no-touch freight. Apply today at CordellTransportation.com. Cordell Transportation, driven to succeed.
Montgomery County veterans, we're here to serve you. You served your country, and now it's time we served you. You are entitled to many VA benefits, to include compensation, pension, and more. Call 937-225-4801 or online at mcvsc.org.
Getting enough sides so you don't have to share? That's finger licking good. Order the KFC Side Lovers Meal today and get 3 large KFC sides served with 8 pieces of tenders or fried chicken. Prices of participation may vary.
Attention men under the age of 35. You know what really impresses the ladies? When a guy has a few drinks and later gets pulled over for buzz driving. That could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. There goes let's grab dinner and a movie. Oh, I know. You drive more carefully when you're buzzed. You've proven that hundreds of times. A woman admires that kind of confidence. And you've practiced how to speak if a cop does pull you over. Slowly, clearly, and politely like, "Good evening, officer." A woman admires that kind of foresight. And what woman doesn't find it adorable that you call it buzzed even though the law calls it drunk? You can kiss $10,000 goodbye, along with any chance of having a girlfriend. Because nothing says I'm a catch more than a guy who lives in his parents' basement and calls it my place.
Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Well, Jason, I've got to tell you, you're pretty much everything this company is looking for in an entry-level candidate.
Great.
Your resume isn't quite what we're used to, but you've got a fantastic work ethic.
Thank you.
and I'm impressed by how you carry yourself.
So, should we talk about the job?
What? The job? Oh, sorry. Yeah, I have no way of recruiting or even meeting you. This interview didn't happen.
It may sound ridiculous, and that's because it kind of is. There's a huge pool of talent your company is missing out on. Meet the grads of life. Who are they? Talent worth knowing about. Young adults.
WYNG 1410 Dayton, Dayton's ESPN Radio.
All right, happy Monday. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Brad Mays with Home Experts Realty. And Kev, you hear the theme in the back. You know what that means?
Yes, indeed.
Feel Good Monday. What are we feeling good about coming out of the weekend? That's how we kick off the show. Again, the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash. I'm Justin Kinner. He's Kev Nash. Kev, what are we feeling good about to kick off the week?
I'm going to go off a little base here. I'm going to feel good about a lot of guys coming back to college. Not only coming back to college, but coming back to the university that they played for last year. I know there's a lot of talk about the transfer portal and people being upset with the transfer portal and people going pro. Well, Caleb Love, RJ Davis, Leaky Black, and Armando Baycock all coming back to North Carolina. All guys that could have went pro, that could have been drafted in the first round or could have transferred somewhere else to get more playing time and get more production, everything like that. They're coming back to North Carolina next season.
So, yes, and again, there's a lot of bad with the portal. But again, the portal's not the problem. This is more NIL than it is portal. Portal still sucks, Kev, just so clear.
NIL, feeling good.
NIL is why these dudes
don't try to rain on my parade. I'm just saying, like, I want to make sure.
NIL is why they're coming back. The portal is what they would have used to leave. I'm just saying, but yes, that is cool because it reminds me a little bit of that Florida team from back in 2008 with the Joakim Noah. Maybe not as good of a team, but still a very good team with a lot of recognizable names. Again, names that a lot of us became familiar with throughout the NCAA tournament run, including that national championship run where they did knock off Duke, of course, in the Final Four. But yes, the portal, in my opinion, is still bad for college basketball. However, NIL, though many people want to overharp about how bad that is, I don't have a problem with NIL, although I think NIL enhances the portal issues. But NIL has also led to a lot of players coming back. I mean, the Dickinson kid from Michigan, he's coming back, and that's another example of the NIL opportunities that, hey, it used to be, I'm going to not bail, that has negative connotation to it. I'm going to go ahead and make the leap to the NBA, even if I may not be 1,000,000% ready, because even if I get a G League contract, even if I get an overseas contract, it's still money I wouldn't have made in college.
Right.
Now that's helping those guys. Those guys they feel more comfortable. You know what? I'm a second round grade, which, by the way, if you get a second round grade in the NBA, you're being told you're fringe to begin with. So that's not a shot. I mean, it's tough to get a second round grade, but if you're told you're getting a second round grade, I get it before, you might as well take a chance. You're going to go make money somewhere. Now you can come back, make money, and there's really not a whole lot of thought about it. You can give yourself a chance to take your game to that next level. So, yes, it is a feel-good Monday for that very reason right there. But, yes, portal still sucks. I'm Justin Kinner. Feel-good Monday. What am I feeling good about coming out of the weekend? How about the Cincinnati Reds, Kev? The Cincinnati Reds, after losing 135,000 straight games, they finally put an end to that losing streak with not just a win, but a win over one of their most hated rivals out of the NL Central, a 4-1 win over the Cardinals. The Reds now improved to 3-13 on the season, but the reason I have it there was my feel-good Monday. Yes, the Reds won, but they won with Nick Lodolo on the mound, and Nick Lodolo looked dominant. Nick Lodolo absolutely dominated in the Reds' 4-1 win over the Cardinals, ending that 11-game losing streak. Again, the Reds still 10 games under 500 already at 3-13, still hold on to the worst record of Major League Baseball, but that's good. You get that win to close out that series against the Cardinals. You get an off night before returning back home. You got the Padres coming into town. But yes, any win's a good win, and the Reds, that's a good win. And see, Phil Castellini was right. You just got to relax. Let's celebrate what the Reds just did, right? No, but 3-13, that stinks, but you still can feel good about the Reds getting a win with one of the main pieces of the future, Nick Lodolo. Kev, what else are we feeling good about?
I'm feeling good about Tyson Fury knocking out Dylan White in the 6th round on Saturday afternoon. Yes, that fight took place around 4 o'clock in the afternoon. afternoon where people are out having a good time at the golf course, or like myself was out there drinking a lot of margaritas. But that now, him knocking him out now sets up the fight between him and Anthony Joshua for the heavyweight title. So it's going to be a unification match that's going to take place probably like somewhere like November, maybe even October. Like I said, I'm off base today. I know we're going to be talking a ton of NBA. I know we're going to be talking a ton of NFL, but there's other sports out there that I want to shine some light on that I feel good about. So I feel good about a potential Anthony Joshua, Tyson Fury fight this fall. I'm here for it.
All right, here on a Feel Good Monday, this is how we kick off every Monday moving forward. We come out of the weekend, tell you what we feel good about, what we experienced over the weekend. I feel good. I went to the Journey concert last night in Cincinnati. Felt pretty cool about that. Like, I really wasn't into it that much going for it, or really wanted to go. But I'm not a big concert person. I go to Riverbend all the time, but I don't really go to too many concerts outside of that. But it was a really cool concert. Had a great time with my fiance, of course. One of our few nights out together before we get married here in a few weeks. So I felt good about that.
It all comes to an end.
Yeah, the beginning of the end, right? No. But I felt good because for those watching on camera, I don't know if you could see it. I got the tan line going here, the golf glove tan line. Now, I threw a temper tantrum on the golf course yesterday because I was awful. I was pissed. I haven't been that pissed in a long time. I was fuming. I was so angry. I didn't even know what to do. I love golf, but I'm telling you, it's supposed to be a sport that you retire, that you can go and relax. And I'm like, why does it just make you contemplate a lot of things? Like, I don't understand. Golf is just not as relaxing as what many people try to convince you that it is. But I still feel good that the weather's warmed up to the point, maybe not today, that you can go out and get a sunburn again. So that makes me feel pretty good. So I'm going to put that at the top of my Feel Good Monday list.
Last one for me, man. I'm feeling good about the NBA, man. I'm feeling great about the NBA playoffs. There've been some great games. Atlanta won on a buzzer beater on Friday night. Unfortunately, they got blew out on Sunday, so that wasn't a good game on Sunday. But it's been a ton of good games in the first round of the NBA playoffs. You got Utah and Dallas tied up at 2s. They're going to be playing tonight to break that tie tonight at 9:30 when Luka's back to full-time minutes. So him and Donovan Mitchell are going to be going at it. Can't wait, man. It's a lot of great NBA going on right now.
Last but not least, what I feel good about here on this Feel Good Monday. Yes, that's it. It's NFL Draft Week. The NFL Draft, the first round, coming up later on this week, Thursday, first round of NFL Draft. And although it's a little boring for me, the Browns do not have a pick in the first round, and the Bengals don't pick until number 31. And I do not believe that there is a franchise-altering talent that the Browns or Bengals could pick up, mainly because I think there's only one kind of franchise-altering, pick that you can make, and that's quarterback. And the Browns have their quarterback, and the Bengals definitely have their quarterback. So I think that these drafts become a little less interesting. But I was talking with Keith Byers earlier today during his show. If the Browns and the Bengals could be more interesting in the months of September, October, November, December, if that's the sacrifice we have to make, is to give up our April, our draft, to have a more interesting September through December, I'm all for it. I would much rather be talking about a winning Browns and Bengals team in September through December, if that means not talking about any major draft picks at the NFL draft. What I mean by that is winning football, not so sexy picks. And the Browns had a number 13 pick before trading that away in one of many picks to be able to acquire Deshaun Watson from Houston. But nonetheless, to me, people get so bent out of shape about draft picks. You can't just give those away. The purpose of draft picks is to be able to take those draft picks and go get talent to help your football team. Well, if you could take that same draft pick and go get a Deshaun Watson, a franchise quarterback, that's still better and more valuable to me than any wide receiver, linebacker, or pass rusher that you were going to get at number 13. And that's the same that goes for me with the Rams. If you look at what they had to give up to get Matthew Stafford, the quarterback that led them to a Super Bowl last year. What kind of player would they have gotten in last year's first round of the draft that would have been more valuable to a franchise than a quarterback that just led them to a Super Bowl? That's why I think we make too much about, this team's giving up way too much draft capital. The purpose of draft picks is to acquire talent that's going to help you win. Well, I'd rather take draft capital to go get talent that's already proven they can win in the league, or at least what you can get with them. I would much rather trade it for NFL talent than prospects coming out, although we do see the impact that these college athletes have coming in to the NFL. But yes, this coming up week, That's coming up Thursday, to be exact, the NFL draft. And, of course, we'll have coverage all week long. We did talk to our good friend Jason Fitz, who's a regular on the show during the NFL season. He's jacked to come and join the show with us this week as well. In fact, we have him scheduled for Wednesday, so I'm excited to chat with him. So we'll have a lot of guests over the next couple of days leading into Thursday's draft, and I know Kev's pretty excited about that as well, because the one thing about the draft, Kev, that I'm also excited about here today on this Feel Good Monday is the Ohio State Buckeyes that could potentially be taken in the upcoming NFL draft as well. Chris Olave, Garrett Wilson, and more. We'll talk about all of that here throughout the afternoon. But one thing to consider when we're talking about the NFL draft, as I've mentioned, well, the AFC North is always very interesting to me because that's where your team resides and your Steelers. That's where my team resides, the Browns, and then that one kitty cat team, the Cincinnati, the Bengals or the Bengals. No, I'll put some respect on their name. The team that was in the Super Bowl last year, the Cincinnati Bengals, and the Baltimore Ravens, of course, with Lamar Jackson. One of the most entertaining divisions in all of football. They may not have the sexiest of draft picks, but all of them have talent, but all of them have needs. In fact, Kev and I are going to kind of go down the list and which two prospects make the most sense for the AFC North teams. We'll talk about all that coming up on the other side. It is the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Brad Mays with Home Experts Realty, right here on 1410 Wing AM.
Jamie's log. Progressive. The Harrington's backyard. Day 11, 4:43 a.m. The tent I set up in the Harrington's backyard to prove Progressive has 24/7 protection has a rip in it. But a little rain won't stop me. Mrs. Harrington says she totally understands 24/7 protection means 24/7. Gonna stay a few more days to make sure. It's hailing now. That's fun.
Progressive doesn't just offer a great price when you bundle home and auto. We offer round-the-clock protection, just not literally from Jamie. Coverage from Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and third-party insurers, and subject to policy terms. Bundle discount not available in all states or situations.
Get help managing your money for the life and years ahead. With Fidelity Income Planning, we'll look at what you've saved, what you'll need, and build a straightforward plan to generate income, even when you're not working. A plan that gives you the chance to grow your savings and create cash flow that lasts. Plus, you can start, stop, or adjust your plan at any time without the unnecessary fees. Talk to us today so we can help you go from saving to living. Fidelity Brokerage Services, number NYSE SIPC.
If you came across someone struggling with hunger, how would you recognize them? Would you notice a 16-year-old boy who got his first job,
not for extra spending money, but to help feed his little sisters?
Or a mother who's in between jobs and sometimes goes to bed hungry so her kids can have dinner? I am the 1 in 8 Americans who struggle with hunger. I am hungered in America.
Hunger can be hard to recognize. Learn why at IamHungeredInAmerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Hey, is this line secure?
Franco's cybersecurity firm secured a contract, and that's all we're allowed to say.
We have a green light on hiring.
He needs web security professionals with a military background.
3 teams of 4, 24-hour rotations, but Protocol Zulu is on a need-to-know basis.
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews right from the Indeed dashboard, so you can stay organized and connected all the way to the hire. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Our freedom depends on secure and honest elections. But the radical left wants to put our elections at risk. They're working overtime to weaken voter ID requirements, legalize ballot harvesting, and even allowing non-citizens to vote. And liberal politicians in Washington are trying to take over our elections, removing Ohio's own local election officials so they can put unelected federal bureaucrats in charge. But Frank LaRose is fighting back. A battle-tested combat veteran, Frank LaRose is leading the charge against these radical election takeovers, protecting fair elections. As Ohio's Secretary of State, Frank LaRose fights election fraud, removing deceased voters from the rolls, demanding that every ballot have a hard copy paper trail, and ordering bipartisan audits after every election. As an Army Green Beret, LaRose protected our freedoms around the world, and now he's protecting our elections here at home. Frank LaRose for Ohio's Secretary of State.
Paid for by LaRose for Ohio.
Hi, this is Eddie Sorrell, body shop manager at Germain Honda Beaver Creek. Our technicians have over 125 years of total experience. That means we can repair your vehicle correctly and efficiently. So when you need a dependable body shop, we're here. And we repair all makes and models with new state-of-the-art equipment to get you back on the road quickly. Plus, we offer loaner cars during service and free estimates. Stop by and see us. Germain Honda Beaver Creek, State Route 35, just east of 675 between Xenia and Beaver Creek.
This is a metaphor for your business's journey. Sometimes it feels like you're going 100 miles an hour, barely keeping up. But to cruise through challenges, you need someone who's right there with you. That's what Dell Technologies advisors do. They have the Windows PCs and tech advice you need to get past whatever's in front of you and get where you want to go. Call an advisor today at 877-ASK-DELL. That's 877-ASK-DELL. A start to a simpler experience with Windows 11 Pro.
Something you probably do know. Progressive can not only offer you a great price when you bundle home and auto, they offer you round-the-clock protection. Something you probably don't know, the average garage door is made up of 1.3 millimeter aluminum panels. Something you probably do know, your neighbor likes to tinker with his dirt bike. Something you probably don't know, a runaway dirt bike can take out your garage door and a good portion of your car bumper. Bundle your home and auto with Progressive and get more than a great price. Get round-the-clock protection. Something you know for the things you don't know. Coverage from Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and third-party insurers and subject to policy terms. Bundle discount not available in all states or situations.
Don't leave money on the table. FAFSA could help the journey to college be less of a financial burden. We also help with filling out FAFSA, so it's less stressful for you. Visit itsforyou.org to use free resources to get free federal student financial aid for college. Visit itsforyou.org to learn more. Sponsored by the Ohio Department of Higher Education. Aired by the Ohio Association of Broadcasters and this station.
There are so many words to describe Panera's new Chef's Chicken sandwiches. The chicken, juicy, succulent, seared. The brioche roll, buttery and toasty. The Parmesan crisps, crunchy, tangy. The secret aioli, creamy and rich. All those words, but when you have a bite, you might just be left speechless. Panera's new Chef's Chicken sandwiches. Enjoy $1 delivery fee when you order on our app. Restrictions apply. For details, visit panerabread.com/delivery info.
Driving happy with Febreze car.
You're driving home when, oh no, you hit the longest red light in town. What's this? You're smiling because your car smells amazing. You just installed a Febreze car vent clip. Ha ha! 5 weeks ago, with up to 40 days of consistent Febreze scent, those lights can stay red for as long as they'd like.
Breathe happy, Febreze, la 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 la.
So many words to describe Panera's new Chef's Chicken sandwiches, but just one bite will leave you speechless. Panera, the familiar made fantastic. Enjoy a $1 delivery fee when you order on their app. Restrictions apply.
O'Reilly. Protect your vehicle's engine with Syntec and O'Reilly Auto Parts. Syntec Premium Full Synthetic Motor Oil is formulated for today's engines to dissipate heat and friction and reduce wear. Right now, get 5 quarts of Syntec Full Synthetic and a MicroGuard Select filter for just $33.99. Try Syntec today, exclusively at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Jose, how much longer till this dough's ready?
No one can bake gluten-free vegan goodies better than Surrey.
Wait, both Jim and Marion's last days are the same day?
But he needs to whip up a new shift lead without interviews burning his time.
Gotta get interviewing before my calendar is cooked. Oh, can you stop?
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews right from the Indeed dashboard, so you can stay organized and connected all the way to the hire. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
The Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash is brought to you by Brad Mays with Home Experts Realty. Justin Kinner, myself, and Kev Nash, of course, hanging out with you live on 1410 Wing AM, live on Facebook on the Justin Kinner Show page, and then ESPN Dayton's Twitter and YouTube channel. Lots of different ways to take in the show. However you do it, we appreciate it, and excited to be hanging out with you here on a Feel Good Monday. Coming out of the weekend, we opened up the 3 and the 5 o'clock hour telling you what we feel good about as we kick off the week, of course, as we talked about lots of NFL draft talk this week. Got some NBA playoff talk coming up here around the corner. I got to defend my dude LeBron here in just a little bit. But before we do that, 518-1410, make sure we get into your calls. Let's go to our dude Charlie. Charlie, how are you, my friend?
I'm good, man. Happy draft week, you guys.
Happy draft week to you as well. Anytime I can hit that little jingle, I always take advantage of it.
Well, I mean, there's no baseball to watch, so.
Even if there was baseball to watch with the Reds, there's technically no baseball to watch.
Yeah, what a shame. What a shame. But, no, I thought it was Man Crush Monday. I was calling in to give a shout out to Kev Nash. But,
give a shout out to Kev Nash. It can be any day you want. If it's Man Crush Monday, you have a crush on our dude Kev Nash over here, give him a shout out.
Big shout out to Kev Nash, man. He runs Dayton. He knows that. Everybody knows that.
Kev Nash runs Dayton. We know this.
So anyway, I'm trying to do some math. You know, it's draft week. I'm trying to figure some things out here. And I'm trying to figure out, like, what the Browns are doing, right? Because a couple weeks ago, Browns had the 13th pick. They had J.C. Shredder. They had Austin Hooper. They had some other guys. And they had the third best quarterback in the AFC North. And now they don't have J.C. Shredder. They don't have Austin Hooper. They don't have Jarvis Landry. They don't have the 13th pick. But they still have the third best quarterback in the AFC North. So I don't know what they were thinking, but, like, so what do you do? If you're the Browns, what do you do?
They don't have Joe Burrow at quarterback. They have Deshaun Watson at quarterback.
Third best quarterback.
So they have
they didn't get any
Joe
better.
Burrow, you're right. Joe Burrow is the third best quarterback, but the Browns have Deshaun Watson, the best quarterback in the AFC North. And that's adorable and delusional of you. Don't you have another parade to join for you almost won the Super Bowl last year? I mean, what are you doing calling in? Shouldn't you be at? I mean, how many parades you guys going to hold for almost winning the Super Bowl last year? And here's the other thing too. The Browns give up the 13th pick to get the best quarterback in the AFC North.
Winning games. If the Browns fans can have parades for not winning games.
You realize that was like a smart-ass parade? Like, that was literally like a parody parade. Like, the guy that put that on literally angered so many people. I mean, I'm just saying, like, you're right. You got to celebrate something. I mean, almost getting there. I mean, my goodness.
We're AFC champions. We're celebrating. We have trophies.
That's super. That's adorable. That's cute. Good for you. You waited on hold that long just to call in? Look, I'm happy that you're happy. I really am. I'm happy that you're happy. That happiness lasts for one season, and reality kicks in when the season kicks off coming up. As long as Deshaun's not suspended, Browns are in good shape.
So my question is, what are the Browns doing quarterback?
Really, we're doing this? You must be bored out on them roads today, Charlie. I'm telling you. I know there's no baseball, not a whole lot going on. The draft coming up, but you got to call in to try to convince yourself that Deshaun's the third best quarterback in this division. That's cute. It's adorable.
He is absolutely the third best quarterback.
Didn't you say it was Man Crush Monday and Kev Nash was your Man Crush Monday? Kev Nash, help me out a little bit. I'm going to tag in my tag team partner here. Who's the best quarterback in the AFC North?
Deshaun Watson.
There we go. I might have a crush on Kev here, too.
This is just making me feel all types of...
Listen. Kev gets grace. Hey, Kev gets grace because he just lost his quarterback of 20 years. Okay? He's got Mitchell Trubisky. We'll see. We'll see. And maybe they draft Kenny Pickett. I don't know. You never know what the Steelers are going to do. All they do is win. So I don't know. Like, Kev, he gets grace right now. If he thinks Deshaun's good, that's fine. But the reality is,
he didn't say Deshaun was good. He said Deshaun was the best quarterback in the AFC North.
I said that Kev has grace because he's grieving because his quarterback retired after 20 years. He might be a little delusional. To be honest,
I think the grieving for that ended 3 years ago for Kev. I think Kev had moved on from Big Ben before Big Ben moved on from the Steelers. Let's be clear.
That's so weird. That's so weird because I remember last year the Browns weren't in the playoffs and Ben Roethlisberger was in the playoffs.
Uh-huh.
So,
and that was a great story for the Steelers. And I also remember your mighty Bengals team only had 2 games up on the Browns, who were riddled with injuries all year. So I don't know what your point is. A healthy Bengals team is only 2 games better than a beat up Browns team. They score.
Desperation doesn't get you far in this league, man.
No, but it gets you a parade for almost winning it.
I'm talking about your team. You guys are desperate.
Why are you calling and talking about my team? Which is totally fine, but I'm just saying, like, you can't be delusional about yours.
Well,
Your team's very good. Don't get me wrong, but
I'm just trying to figure it out.
Why are we
Like, what is
yelling?
the move?
Why are we yelling? We're friends here. Why are we yelling?
I'm just trying to figure out what the Browns are going to do. What's your?
What do you mean? What are the Browns going to do? The Browns are fine. The Browns are fine. In fact, there's still a ton of big free agents out there, and a lot of those guys are waiting. A lot of teams are waiting until after the draft to kind of finalize those. So the Browns are still going to most likely be able to add a Jadeveon Clowney. Most likely going to get Jarvis Landry back. They're going to get a wide receiver in the draft. They are fine. And if you think Austin Hooper leaving all of a sudden, just breaks down the Browns, I feel bad for you. I question your football logic. Austin Hooper, I liked when the Browns got him. Really wasn't a whole lot as far as outside of a blocking tight end for them, but the big playmaker at tight end is David Njoku, and the Browns got him taken care of for this year at least with the tag. So, look, the Browns are fine. I get it. You're worried. You're upset. You were hoping that Deshaun was going to be suspended for 4 to 6 to 8, maybe the whole season. That's most likely not going to happen now. So now you got to call in. You're all self-conscious. You're all worried. So now you start with your jokes.
Does not
start
scare
taking
me.
shots. He does. He should scare you. He does scare you. And that's the thing. That's why you called in. That's why, look, it's NFL draft week, and this is why I know Deshaun Watson scares you, because you haven't called in to talk about your team. You called in to talk about my team because you want to convince me and you that my team, which we all know is better than your team, is not better than your team, and we all know it.
Justin, maybe the Browns will sign Andy Dalton. Maybe. We'll see.
What is that? You're not
Maybe
making
they'll get
sense.
Dalton.
Like you've had some good trolling moments. This is bad even for you.
Maybe they can work it back out with Baker Mayfield.
What's that?
Maybe they can work it out with Baker.
What does that have to do with anything?
Well, I mean, you got to do something.
Got to do something. Got to do something about what?
Deshaun's not going to be available.
Deshaun will be available this upcoming year. 23, he might be suspended. He might be on a 2-month vacation. All right, but 22, he should be fine, barring injuries, which I know you're hoping for, because that's the only way you could win the AFC North, of course.
Do you think that's the only way the Bengals can win the AFC North? Is that
That's the only way they did win the AFC North. Yes.
You have no possible way of proving that.
It's common sense.
Is it common sense?
It is common sense. Yes.
We blew out the Steelers and the Ravens, and you think if they had a couple more healthy players,
You do realize you're bragging about beating the Ravens. I mean, the Ravens were literally not the Ravens. You understand
Lamar
that, right?
Jackson didn't play in either game. Is that what
You
you're telling
understand that the Ravens weren't the Ravens in that game, right? Like you beat up that would be like you going in high school beating up on the JV team and bragging about beating the JV team. I mean, I have no clue what you're bragging.
So Lamar Jackson's not only better than Deshaun Watson, he's a JV quarterback. That's what you're saying?
Last I knew, you weren't throwing touchdowns over Lamar's head, were you? You were throwing them over the back the practice squad DBs for the Ravens.
Who was hurt on the Ravens team?
Pretty much the whole running back staff and all the secondary for the Ravens.
Okay,
and if I even have to sit there and have this
either.
conversation with you because you're not smart enough to understand that, I'll just drop this call, move on to someone more intelligent than you, buddy, because you know damn well what I'm talking about. Trying to get under my skin. You can get under my skin if you want, but you could do it without sounding like an idiot. That's all I got to say. Like, you don't have to call in and just try to troll to get under my skin. You can get under my skin in so many other different ways, but sounding like a moron. Look, I get 3 hours a day to sound like a moron myself. I don't need to share the moron landscape with you, my friend. Like, come on now. Are we going to have a regular football conversation, or are we just going to keep going in circles here?
You're trying
if
to
Linderbaum's available at number
to say-
31, should your team go there? Should they get a replacement for Jesse Bates after next season? What do you think the Bengals will do with that pick? Or do you have any other progressive jokes about Baker Mayfield? Do you have anything else to enlighten us with today, Charles?
Cornerback is priority number one.
Cornerback, that's fair. All right, which cornerback? And by the way, if Linderbaum's there, are you against them taking Linderbaum?
Not if only if there's not a corner that has that grade, like a high enough grade, because I mean Linderbaum's hard to pass. I don't understand people's evaluations on Linderbaum, because I've heard people say like, He's in my top 5 players, but he might not go in the first round. It's like, what does that mean?
Well, yeah, he started being like a top 10 pick and then kind of dropped to the top 15. And then it was, man, the Bengals fans were all shocked that their names were being even mentioned for him as far as him even being available. Now, all of a sudden, he may fall out of the first round. I don't understand that. That's why I'm like, man, if he's there, I know you guys fine-tune that OL. That OL line's going to be night and day better than it was last year. But if you have a chance to get a kid like that for in the waiting, because it's about, setting the line up for success long-term too. Damn, I don't know how you pass up on a kid like that. And I don't think anyone, like, let's say they draft him and it doesn't work out. I don't think they're going to get bashed as hard. The Bengals have killed the last 2 drafts. I called this the heat check draft for the Bengals to see if they can keep the streak going. But I think that Katie, obviously, and Duke Tobin, they've killed it in the last couple of drafts, obviously. I'd like to see them keep going with it. I think Linderbaum is like a safe pick. I think that if they get him and he doesn't work out, I don't think anyone criticizes him for it. But I'm curious to see how aggressive they're going to be in this draft as far as that goes.
Yeah, I would be totally fine if they traded the pick and just tried to get a couple more picks, because I think I really am worried about our cornerback situation. I know we re-signed Eli Apple, but man,
Apple wasn't bad, but he can't be one of your main.
Yeah,
he can't be your starter. You got to get a better.
I mean?
You have Mike Hilton, you have Awuzie, of course. Von Bell, but that's gonna be the final year for him. Jesse Bates, I know at safety, this is probably gonna be his last year. Like, it's not just cornerback; it's gonna be safety too. That maybe not for this upcoming season, but long term. But it has to make sense. You can't just take a safety just to take one. It has to be worth it if one's sitting there. So who knows?
Yeah, trade back and get all developmental players. You've got a roster that you can develop players behind.
So that's the position they're in. It's a good position to be in and much better than where they were the last 2 drafts. That's for sure. But Charlie, it got a little testy, but I think we're back down to we're level headed now, or at least I am. But you accomplished what you called in to do. You got my blood pressure up on a Monday. Kudos to you, my friend.
Good luck with the quarterback search, man.
My quarterback is fine, Charlie. The best damn quarterback in the AFC North, and you know it. This is the only reason Bengals fans continue to take shots at the Browns, is because before they weren't even worried about. They were. If I said something about the Bengals, they'd laugh at me because, oh, poor little Kenner over there with his Baker Mayfield-led Browns. But now all of a sudden they've turned the heat up, Kev. Now they're coming at me without me going at them, and I'm like, because that's just cowardly. That's fear. They know it. They know all of a sudden that the Cleveland's a real contender now again, and that bothers them because they had their little 1 year in the spotlight, and now they're pissed off because now Cleveland's here to take it right back from them the same way that the bad Browns team took it from them last year 2 times. So I'm just saying, and the 2 times the year before that. This isn't a trolling segment. It's just common sense. We were having a good show. I was on a roll. We weren't, we were supposed to be talking something else right now. Charlie called in, pissed me off, and now here we are. We're off and rolling. We're off to the races. And what's funny is Kev Nash will say the same thing as me in his Kev Nash cool, calm, and collected way, and it's okay. Kenner says it, and oh my God, he's a hater. Oh God, why don't you just move to Cleveland? Which maybe I will. Maybe I will.
Oh man,
so there's that.
It's so
I'm down
funny.
right now. I've narrowed it down to my top 3, and I'll let you know next week which one I take. All right, 518-1410. Kev, you're my favorite Kev. You want to know who my least favorite Kev is?
Do tell.
Durant. We'll talk about him next.
You have empty office space to fill or home office to create. You know what you need. You know what you'd like. But you also have a pretty good idea after you've shopped around the usual places what you need and what you like might not happen. Well, then you haven't been to Charles Larrick's Warehouse Outlet. Nobody has their selection. Nobody has their discounts. And every week there's something new. If you need office furniture, Larrick's Warehouse Outlet can sell it to you for half the price and below manufacturer's selected prices. Half price and below on hundreds of items. Selection from budget to the best. Really, desks from $50 to $5,000. Filing cabinets from $25 to $500. Before you go anywhere else, do yourself a favor and come to Larrick's Warehouse Outlet. With 25,000 square feet of selection, you're not going to go anywhere else. Larrick's Warehouse Outlet at 23 McOil Avenue, Dayton. Open Monday through Friday, 9 to 6. Larrick's, continuing the tradition.
OHMB 803342 and MLS 304138. Do you need help with a loan to purchase or refinance your home? Have you applied for a home loan and been told you do not qualify for a loan? Are you a first-time buyer and have questions regarding the home buying process? Are you considering refinancing your existing home? Do you live in Ohio, Kentucky, Indiana, Florida, or South Carolina? If you answered yes to any of the above questions, you need to call Forrest Ferris at 3rd Street Financial Home Loans at 513-320-5911, who is available 7 days a week to help you. We're 3rd Street Financial Home Loans, and Forrest Ferris specializes in approving home loans banks and other lenders cannot or will not approve. Some of our clients might have low credit scores, been through a divorce, want to buy a home for sale by owner, are in a land contract, or dealing with probate or estate homes. Call Forrest now for a free estimate. 513-320-5911. That's 513-320-5911. Offer valid for purchase or refinancing of homes located in Ohio, Kentucky, Indiana, Florida, and South Carolina only. Minimum loan amount $60,000. Limitations and restrictions apply.
The Meyer Distribution Center in Tip City is hiring for warehouse positions in all units. Includes flexible schedules, best-in-class benefits, starting wages up to $18.60, and $2,000 sign-on bonus. Candidates can apply online at jobs.meyer.com. Keyword search distribution. Location Tip City, or call 937-669-9155. 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. Monday through Friday. Walk-in interviews are available with on-the-spot job offers. Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. Call 937-669-9155. Meyer is an equal opportunity employer.
I can walk again. I can cross my legs again. I can wear heels again.
After years of living with chronic joint pain, Andrea Southard is now living a normal life, pain-free, thanks to natural biologic treatments at QC Kinetics.
We tried everything, and my husband had heard the commercial for QC Kinetics on the radio, and he told me to call him and check it out.
That phone call changed Andrea's life. QC Kinetics used powerful natural biologics to treat her aching joints. It's high-tech precision medicine that can restore and repair damaged joint tissue with no surgery and no drugs, providing lasting relief.
And I felt like I was in my 20s again. I could tie my own shoes. Really the little things that you don't think about.
Pain in your hips, knees, back, shoulders? Get rid of the pain now. Call QC Kinetics.
937-936-0325. That's 937-936-0325. QC Kinetics, 937-936-0325.
We welcome you back. I'm Justin Kinner alongside Kev Nash, hanging out with you here on a Monday in the Miami Valley, Dayton's ESPN radio station, 1410 Wing AM. Excited to be hanging out with you here on this rainy, annoying afternoon, right? Like after that beautiful weekend we just had. How about that weekend, by the way?
Beautiful.
Got sunburnt. I even felt kind of weird because I bitched about how hot it was at one point. I know, right? Like
it snowed like that Monday, right?
Yep.
And you were still complaining about being hot.
I was out doing some yard work. Actually, I enjoyed being out in the sun doing some yard work or whatever. I just went out and golfed. I got the tan line, the golf glove tan line going
to prove it.
That. So pretty jacked about that. Of course, I'd love to get back. I golfed horrible yesterday. May have lost a friend or two because I threw a temper tantrum on the course. I was pissed. And it ticks me off because here's the deal. If I golf bad on the front nine, I'm fine with that. Because then it set the tone. I'm going to be bad for the day, whatever. What I hate is when you start off hot and then it just goes if I'm going to golf bad, I want to start out bad because I'm either going to be bad from beginning to end and I've set the tone and I've accepted it from the start. Or if I start out bad and then I get better throughout, then you have that confidence to take it into your next round. Mm-hmm. But there's nothing worse than starting out really well and then just literally just everything falling apart. I mean, one thing after another. We can't swing my irons, can't hit my driver. I get it on the green, can't putt. I mean, it ticks me off. On baseball, it reminds me of baseball. When you have a team that, if we would have had that 2013 bullpen with the 2014 rotation and the lineup we had, we'd be great, right? Like we talk about that all the time. How like for the Reds specifically this year, they're just bad on all accounts. But like some seasons, like for instance last year, very good rotation. They had a good lineup. Bullpen just historically god awfully bad. Imagine if the bullpen was good. So I equate that to golf. You're hitting well off the tee. hitting well between the tee and the green. Everything's going great. You get on the green. Oh man, you can't putt for crap. So now it's like, okay, your bullpen's good, your rotation's good. You can't hit for anything, or you're scoring runs. Your starters are great, but your bullpen's blowing leads after run. Nothing's ever clicking on all cylinders, right? Mm-hmm. It's the absolute most frustrating thing in the world. You're a Guardians fan, like you're used to having great pitching, questionable bullpen play and some pop in that lineup. And then when your bullpen steps up, then there's no run support. It doesn't make any sense. That to me, being a baseball fan is a lot like being a golfer at times. For the bad to average baseball. If you're a fan of a bad to average baseball team, you can relate to golfers because every year, no matter what, nothing is clicking on all cylinders. You know what I mean? Like you can never just have that team that the rotation's badass, the bullpen, you're not sweating about going to them. You're going to have run support. That's a good golfer right there. You're going to hit well off the tee box. You know that you're mid-gate. Everything's going to be fine. When you get in the green, you're confident in your ability to putt. Everything's great. That's what it's like to be a fan of like the Yankees or a good baseball organization, right? Kinner's golf game is the equivalent to being a fan of the Reds. It's just a freaking disaster. But nothing could, so I was ticked. I mean, on the way home, I'm like, I have no clue why I let that sport get the best of me. It's like Charlie earlier, the way he pissed me off. That's the way golf does. I mean, golf is just the ultimate blood pressure test. Most people retire to golf. I might have to retire from golf to stay healthy.
Do handball.
I don't have a heart attack.
Do handball. My uncle, he used to golf. Now he plays handball because he was terrible at golf. So he picked up another new sport.
Problem is I'm bad at everything.
It happens.
Bad at everything. Everything. All right. NBA playoffs is, the theme, started the segment here. Big game tonight. A lot of big games tonight. Raptors, 76ers. Sixers up 3-1. Looking to make quick work of the Raptors and advance to the next round. Jazz and Mavericks, that series tied at 2 apiece. But the series that really we should say is the least compelling of all because it's a potential sweep is the 3-0 series lead that the Celtics have over the Nets. But this is the most intriguing one. I don't think we anticipated the Nets losing this series. I don't think we anticipated the Nets going down 0-2 in Boston. We thought at least a split because Boston with Tatum was good enough to at least warrant that. But then we thought for sure that the Nets would come back at home and at Barclays and get that game to have a chance to tie it up tonight. That's not the case. They're down 3-0. They're down 3 games to nothing. And Kevin Durant, it's not like, and see, people like to live in the box score, and you look at the box score for Kevin Durant, Kev, who's averaging 29.9 points per game. He's averaging about 7.5 rebounds a game. He's averaging about 6.5 assists per game. You would think, hey, why is so many people bitching about Kevin Durant? He's doing his thing. It's because it's about what you do in the biggest moments of the game. So that's really what it comes down to. So Kevin Durant's legacy, I think it's drastic to say is on the line, but Kevin Durant's legacy has been on the line his entire career because many critics out there still have not believed that he has been. We were listening to Charles Barkley earlier, calling them bus drivers, like who's driving the bus, who is leading the team to the promised land. You can argue. You could debate who was driving the bus for Golden State when Kevin Durant was there, but that was a team that had won 70 games. That was a team that had already won an NBA championship. That was a team that had already been to the finals multiple times. It's not as if they needed that bus driver to get them there, but they did need that bus driver, if you will, to take them to that next level, which Kevin Durant did. But he got no credit for those championships there. And I know you could say, well, he played well when they got there, but again, it's easy to be Kevin Durant when you have so many stars around you, because when you're Kevin Durant and don't have to lead, you just get to be Kevin Durant. You don't have to be the team's ultimate rebounder. You don't have to be the team's ultimate assist man. You don't have to be the team's ultimate rah-rah guy. Golden State had all of that around him. So yes, his assists were good. His rebounds were good in Golden State, but a lot of those weren't the impact rebounds and assists that needed to be made for that team to be successful. That's why that arguably, the reason people talk so much about that Warriors team versus Michael's Bulls is because those are arguably two of the best teams ever in the history of the NBA. When you look at the just pure talent on both rosters and the results and the championships and everything, much smaller window for Kevin Durant in Golden State than obviously MJ's Bulls, who had 2 separate dynasties, if you will, 2 separate 3-peats. Probably could have potentially been a 7-peat if he doesn't have missed that season where the Rockets won it, right? Talking about MJ. So, Kevin Durant then goes to Brooklyn, and this was an opportunity for him to be able to say, you know what? I took my team to the finals in Oklahoma City. We fell up short against LeBron James and the Miami Heat, but that was in the young core days of the James Harden, Russell Westbrook, trio, if you will, in OKC. And now he had a chance here to be able to take him to that next level, couldn't get it done there, but did get him to a finals. Gave him 9 years, by the way. That's why I supported Kevin Durant leaving OKC. He gave OKC 9 years. They went to a finals, and instead of adding to that finals team, they took pieces away. They took away Serge Ibaka. They took away James Harden. They took away Scott Brooks, the coach that Kevin Durant was really fond of. So they didn't add pieces to that finals appearing team. For instance, the Bengals right now. Imagine if the Bengals get to the Super Bowl last year and they lost like the OKC did to the Heat in the finals. And instead of, Bengals fans are like, man, we're only going to get better. We're only going to start adding pieces. Well, imagine if Mike Brown and company start pulling a Castellini move and, we're going to move on from Tyler Boyd. We're going to get rid of Hendrickson. We're going to get rid of Hilton. We're going to take pieces away instead of adding to the Super Bowl appearing team, right? The runner-up. Mm-hmm. That's what happened to Kevin Durant in OKC, which is why I don't blame him for leaving. He gave him 9 years. And instead of them giving him more weapons, they took weapons away. No more James Harden, no more Ibaka. He was a dominant defender and down low, especially back then. So I didn't mind when he left. I minded where he went because of just the look of it. Like he wanted to be that guy that was like LeBron James, that was leading teams to championships and all that. And although he did technically was the best player on the floor for those championships, didn't technically get the credit that he thought he deserved for leading a team to a title because it was a team that had already been there. So this was a chance for him to show that, hey, I'm driving this ship. I'm driving this bus. I'm going to lead him there. And not only are you not going to lead him there, you are going to get swept potentially in the first round. I don't think a win tonight for the Nets saves the criticism that's already coming his way, but damn it, he better not get swept. But the criticism's there. It's warranted, and it's just tough. Kevin Durant is a very dependent player. Kyrie Irving has that same reputation. I think both of them thought two dependent players. Like Kyrie doesn't get credit for that Cavs finals, even though his shot won it, right? Kyrie needs LeBron. Kevin Durant needs Steph Curry. These two players are tired of hearing that they need others, that they want to be the central forces of a title. They came together, thought that they could do it. I still think that if they stay together long enough, they can, but it might not be this year, and that might not matter because I think that the criticism's there. It was there before. It's going to be even louder now.
Man, what a debacle. What a debacle on every...
I love it. I love drama.
What a debacle on every level with Kevin Durant and his play during this series, with Kyrie Irving going back to the Celtics with the middle fingers, and then his play, and then everything that's going on with Ben Simmons. It's just a total debacle. But in my eyes, the Nets, KD, Kyrie, Ben Simmons, they are not the story. The story is the Boston Celtics. And this is why the regular season matters. People will scream up and down, regular season don't matter, regular season don't matter. It's all about what you do in the playoffs. Well, the Boston Celtics had the best defense in the NBA all regular season. Well, basically from January on, they had the best defense in the league. And I was saying like, well, the Celtics have not one, not two, not three, but four dudes that can slow down Kevin Durant. You're not going to stop Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant eventually is going to get his points. In game 2, where he was 0 for 10 in the second half, he went to the free throw line like 15 times. It was because he was aggressive and everything like that. So you're not going to stop him, from scoring and everything like that, but you're going to make it difficult. And they have guys that can make it difficult. The guys that I know, Jason Tatum should be getting a ton of credit for what the Boston Celtics are doing because he's scoring the ball and he's a primary defender on Kevin Durant. But the real key to that team, to the Boston Celtics, is Marcus Smart. Marcus Smart has been on that team for quite some time, and they've tried everything underneath the sun to get him out of there and not have him be the point guard. They brought in Kyrie Irving. They brought in my guy, Kemba Walker. They finally relented and let him be the point guard. And that opened up their defense because they have him who is 6'5". Then you have Jaylen Brown who's 6'6". And then you have Tatum who's 6'7". So, we can just switch because all of us are super tall. All of us are super athletic. So guess what? We can just switch. And now the only way the Nets can score the ball is by going small. But guess what? When you go small and put Seth Curry in the game with Kyrie Irving and what's my guy that used to play for the Spurs, Patty Mills. So you run those dudes out there. You run all three basically point guards out there. Guess what? We're going to score at will because I'm 6'6" and he's 6'1". That's just simple. It's as simple as that. Their defense is outstanding. What they've been doing to them is crazy, because never in a million years would I think that Kevin Durant would play this poorly, but he's playing this poorly because of the Boston Celtics. It doesn't let him off the hook at all. I'm just giving credit to the Boston Celtics, because it seems like the circles that I run in, everybody wants to talk about how bad that they're playing. He's playing that bad for a reason. He's not playing that bad because he's not shooting, because he's chucking, but he's breaking. And there's a reason why he's breaking. I don't think we've ever seen Kevin Durant play this bad
And in big
ever.
moments, because like we said, he's averaging and
most of those points are from the free throw line, because he's shooting 5 for 20. He's gonna get to the line because he's just that good. He's gonna manufacture points, but in those moments, okay, Celtics are on a 7-0 run, we need a bucket, and they can't get one. He can't get a bucket. Kyrie can't get a bucket, and I just think that it's kind of not only him and everything that's going on with the Nets and everything like that. Bruce Brown, their power forward guy who's only 6'4", came out with those remarks last game right after they beat the Cleveland Cavaliers and said, oh, yeah, we're going to score at will because they don't have their big man Williams. We're just going to run pick and roll, and KD and Kyrie is just going to score at will. Well, guess what? You guys are on the verge of getting swept. And I think they are going to get swept, because the last place I think Kyrie wants to go is back to Boston. I think they get up out the paint tonight. I think the Celtics shut them down tonight and get another victory and sweep them up out the paint.
So what year was LeBron's first year with the Heat? 2009 or 10?
Ooh, let me Google.
So that first, either way, the point is, whatever year the Dallas Mavericks won that NBA championship, Jason Tatum is the equivalent to the Dallas Mavericks championship team that year. To where the story wasn't the Dallas Mavericks won the NBA championship, the story was LeBron lost the NBA championship finals that year. That's kind of what's going on here with Jason Tatum. Jason Tatum is literally outplaying Kevin Durant. He is the best player on the floor, both for every game throughout this series. He has been the best player on the floor,
offensively and defensively.
And it's been fun to watch, but the problem is he's not going to get credit for it yet. So he's not going to get credit for it yet. So when they beat the Nets, if they beat the Nets tonight, it's going to be not that Tatum and the Celtics beat Kevin Durant and the Nets, it's that Kevin Durant lost. And Kyrie lost. That's the headline. What's good for Jason Tatum is the fact that there'll be another series where he'll get a chance to lead that. So then he could prove that, okay, the storyline wasn't Kevin Durant played bad. It was that Jason Tatum outplayed him. And that's the one thing that he has going for him that the Mavericks didn't back then. The Mavericks, they won the championship, but the headline was LeBron lost it. So really what the Mavericks then kind of disbanded the roster. So they never had a chance to run it back. So it was always just that, oh man, LeBron lost the title. That was the headline, not Dallas won it. So the headline tonight will be Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving fold, get swept. They were getting propped up as the most dynamic scoring duo ever. And by the way, I don't think that really changes that. That's still accurate. They are the most dynamic scoring duo. I think they need to play together another year before I can say ever. But the point is, that's going to be the storyline, not Tatum and the Celtics yet. But they go on. Who would they play next? Philly or Milwaukee? Now you best so you knock out Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, and then you go and knock out the reigning defending champion. Now Tatum has everyone on notice. And that's going to be what's key. This Boston Sixers series or Milwaukee Sixers series in the Eastern Conference Finals, buckle up, because that's going to be one hell of a ride. I promise you that much. But this playoff run has been fun. But Kevin Durant, this is why, and I people's hatred for LeBron because of his political stances on things have clouded just common sense basketball talk. I hate when I bring up LeBron. It comes into the, LaChina James and all that stupid stuff that comes with it. That's what you want to go to. That's fine. You want to politicize everything. That's fine. I'm talking basketball. And from basketball, I've said LeBron's still the best player in the NBA today. Okay. And this isn't about Kevin Durant. The Nets are losing, so it's that Kevin Durant's not coming up in the big moments of the game. But here's where I'm coming out with this. Kevin Durant is not playing well in those big moments, yes, but Kevin Durant has never proven that he could be that main, that he can lift up a team. He could be the best scorer on the team. He's a great athlete. He could rebound, he could assist and all that. But as far as being that guy that everyone builds around, Steph Curry, he's not as tall as Kevin Durant. He's not as athletic as Kevin Durant. He's not as good as Kevin Durant. but we've seen him lead teams to a championship, and he might be very well on his way to leading another team to a championship. Talking about Steph Curry. Kevin Durant's never been able to really do that. He's just been the most skilled player on the floor every night. And we've seen there's been very skilled players that haven't won championships or been able to lead teams. Tracy McGrady is still a poor man's Kevin Durant to me. And that's not a slight at Tracy McGrady. I love Tracy McGrady. I don't know about you. I love T-Mac. I think, am I fair in saying he's a poor man's Kevin Durant? But
I get what you're saying. It's kind of like how whenever Kyrie goes bananas and drops a 50 burger and everything like that, and everybody starts complaining about, you telling me this dude's not top 75 of all time? There's a reason why. Like, you have to play. Two, skill set and actually producing are two totally different things. You can be the most skillful person in the world, but if you don't produce, then what's it worth? You know, you can be super talented and everything like that, but if your production doesn't match your talent, then you can't say that.
James Harden.
Yeah, like you have to produce at the end of the day. And I'm a huge Kevin Durant fan as a basketball player, but this absolutely is a bad look. I mean, you can't, in basketball, you can't have moments like this, and then expect everybody to be like, oh, well, it's just one of those series. It's a bad matchup and everything like that. You know, it doesn't negate the things that he's done in his career prior to this. Just like when Kobe Bryant was shooting 30% versus the Pistons in the finals that year. It didn't negate what he did before. But guess what? Kobe Bryant had to come back later and redeem that to say, hey, I am that dude. So after their season is over, and it could be over potentially tonight, Kevin Durant is going to have to do more. He's going to have to win a championship. He's going to have to put a team on his back, because we think about last year's playoff run, the way he was playing then, he's getting more respect then in a close loss than he is right now when he has a fully loaded, well, not fully loaded team, but with this team.
It's a duo league right now, though. That's working against him.
Yeah, like he was out there by himself and everything like that. And I just think like the construction of the team and them expecting Ben Simmons to come in there to save the day. And I'm like, dude, ain't played in a year. His back is jacked up and everything like that. And that's a whole nother animal. Kyrie coming out there in the press conference saying we don't have the luxury of having cohesiveness on our team like the Celtics. And I'm like, dude, read the room. It's partially on him.
It's on him. It's a delicate situation.
I'm not jumping out the window saying, oh man, this is why you should have got the shot and everything would have been okay. Yeah, but like those type of things, you probably would just keep to yourself. Just like dial it back a tad.
Yeah, that's tonight. You say it's over because
I think it's over. I think it's over, man. I think it's over tonight. I think KD will go out blazing, a la Kobe Bryant. Like, you know, even in that series,
that Lakers Suns series that year,
like he's just gonna go out and hey, man, if I'm gonna go out chucking, and maybe he'll catch fire. And I mean, we've all seen KD catch fire before, and it's enough to get him a win. But I don't think they, as a team, can get back to Boston, because if they go back to Boston, man, it's going to be scary hours for them. It's going to be kind of like when the Lakers had to play the Celtics in a game 6. It was a blowout from the jump. Like the worst thing this Lakers could have did was to push it to a game 6, because you got on that
way down their home floor.
Exactly. You jumped on that long flight from LA to Boston to get beat by 40. I think that the Nets just go ahead and pack it up tonight.
All right, well, that wraps it up for us here today. Celtics, Nets. Celtics up 3-0 over the Nets. No Reds baseball tonight. Talk more of this tomorrow's show. Again, it'll be interesting to see what happens. But that wraps it up for us here this afternoon. I don't know if you saw this, but Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase were at the spring game for LSU over the weekend. Buckeye fans were a little pissed off because Joe Burrow wasn't wearing an Ohio State jersey. I don't understand. I mean, he's a Buckeye.
He can waive his degree.
Yeah, I mean, come on, Joe Burrow's a Buckeye. How come he wasn't at Ohio State spring game? It's because he's a Tiger. I'm getting so tired of Zach Taylor at the coaches thing a few weeks ago saying, oh, man, 4 Buckeyes led us to a Super Bowl appearance. No, 3 did. A Tiger actually led you there. Anyways, we're done. Have a great night. Until tomorrow. He is not a Buckeye. He wasn't good enough. He lost the starting job to 2 different quarterbacks at Ohio State, and then was below average at LSU his first year, and then had a out-of-body experience in that last year, which kudos to him. Have a great night. Go Bucks. Joe Burrow's not a Buckeye. Have a great night. We want winners. He wasn't a winner at Ohio State. Just say he lost the starting job twice, Kev. We're out of time. Sorry.
Hey, here to tell you about my friends at Cordell Transportation. They're now hiring Class A CDL drivers.